Hello and welcome to episode 192 of the F.Reality Podcast, the number one VR podcast for all your VR gaming needs. We've got a jam-packed show for you today as we're going to be giving you our thoughts on the latest zombie shooter from Vertigo Games called After the Fall. I give you my hands-on impressions of a tiny VR headset called the Arpara 5K. Meta's Horizon finally launches on the Quest 2, although sadly it's not open for everyone. Cyberpunk's 2077 is getting the VR mod treatment courtesy of our friend Luke Ross. And to round up the show, Zim's got some top picks of VR games announced during the Upload VR Showcase and the recent Game Awards. But for now, let me introduce you to the team and find out if they have any highlights from the past couple of weeks they want to share. And also feel free to share what you've been up to in the chat so we can read out some of your highlights too. First up, this guy's back, a little older, a little wiser, and possibly even a little blonder. So our favorite Frisian is, of course, Nathy. How you doing?
I am doing great. Yes, I haven't been doing much VR though. I feel like I'm in this show today to just kind of catch up with what has been going on. I don't know. So maybe you can tell me. VR unplugged. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe you guys can tell me what happened. Is VR still alive, or
VR is alive and well? Yeah, you didn't miss too much.
Okay.
You were already involved in After the Fall before you went on holiday, so that was kind of like the big thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you missed much. But yeah, it was definitely a quieter episode. Not having you on the show.
It was shorter as well, substantially shorter. Like we cut an hour out. It was mad.
Yeah,
I did see that, and I remember like blaming it on myself. I was like, there's like how? Like I'm not there, and now suddenly it's shorter. That's weird.
Yeah. But you had a good time. You had a good birthday because, of course, you're turning 27.
Yeah, no, I had an amazing time. It was just great to, as you said, like unplug from the whole VR thing. Of course, I keep an eye on social media because it's still my job and it's still my life. But no, I was able to especially when you're in a theme park, you just don't have time to like grab your mobile phone. The only reason I grab my mobile phone is to make a lot of pictures. Like I just make pictures of everything. And it's just like
the Efteling, right?
I went to the Efteling, yeah. Full treatment from Friday to Monday, 24/7 Efteling. It was the funniest thing ever.
It's like Germany's like Disneyland, right? Or is it in the Netherlands?
Germany's. Deutschland's Efteling, yeah.
Is it in the Netherlands?
It is in the Netherlands. It's not in Germany, no.
But it's like the Netherlands equivalent of Disney, right?
Yeah. If Germany had
not really, because it's like it's more like because Disney is its own like Disney brand, but the Efteling is more like the fairy tales, right, Nathy? It's the Brothers Grimm.
But it is Efteling, or it is like Disneyland.
I know.
Like
I know
style, and also it's not just a half-baked park or something.
Is someone else's IP? Is that what you mean, Rowdy? Like it's a mix of someone else's intellectual property.
So they don't use any of the like the attractions that they have. It's not like Disney or things like that. They're like based on the fairy tales of Grimm and other fairy tales. It's a fairy tale concept. So all like the characters from fairy tales you can encounter there, instead of like, for example, Mickey Mouse or like something like that. So it's a fairy tale forest.
One of the fairy tale characters that I met in the park actually roasted me, saying that my mustache was so unimpressive that it would blow away when the wind would come by.
Wow.
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
That's
I thought these Disney characters, in Disney parks, are supposed to be really nice to you, and then you just get roasted.
Yeah.
Different.
I had a question about it though. Efteling is it one of a kind? Is it like it's just one place, or are there is it a franchise? There's multiple.
No, it's one place. One place, but people from whole Europe come there to. No, it's next level. It really is. You should look it up and
cool.
It's nice.
Well, hopefully you feel refreshed and ready to chat about some VR. So good to have you back on the show. Yeah, also, congrats to Serpo and Caroline for correctly guessing Nathy's tender age of 27 in the chat last week. I sent over some PSVR keys for Windlands 2 to congratulate you both. So I hope you enjoyed the game. But next up, this guy's got a new mic. And no, he's not replacing me. That's impossible. Instead, he's upgraded his audio gear so he sounds even more orgasmic than before. It's the one and only Rowdy guy. How you doing, dude?
Yes, hello everyone, and welcome to the show. No, I'm joking. Yes, indeed. I spent quite a bit of money on Black Friday sales. I got like a new microphone. I got new speakers. The only thing is that everything I bought on Black Friday was not on discount, so there was no point in like purchasing. Wow. Everything I wanted was not on discount, so that's just how things go, I guess. But I've been great. It's been a very, very busy week. Luckily the holidays are coming. There's always a nice thing. On the other hand, the holidays are coming, which means that all the deadlines are also, approaching. It's the end of the year is something to look forward to, but at the same time is something that I dread during the time that it happens, because there's just so much to do. Both in work and, like all of the releases that are coming out still before the year. You have like the Game Awards, like there's so much stuff that is going on like right before the end of the year that it's like hard to keep up with everything. Like I've not played a lot of VR this week. I have done like quite a bit of After the Fall, but we'll talk a little bit about that later, I guess. So, But yeah, I've been great for the rest.
Good to hear it. Good to hear it. Well, next up, this guy, he's definitely on my naughty list this year. he likes to live his life on nightmare difficulty to the detriment of everyone else around him. It's the legendary, iconic, epic VR streamer, Zimtok5. How you doing, dude?
I'm great. God, I feel like I'm making a name for myself with this goddamn game. Yeah, it's been fun. So that's After the Fall, and I'll save After the Fall comments for later. But this has been a good week. It's been a good start. I'm formally on holiday now for a while, so that's always a good feeling. Went out, got a tree yesterday, set that up, decorated the house, and all that stuff with family feels just great, right? Because it's like, hey, now I can feel like I'm in the mood, right? There are neighbors of mine who, I don't know, I think in the US you'd probably get shot or something, but like they were setting up in like 1st of November, they had lights out, outside their house. I'm like, come on guys, it's too soon. It's too soon. At least there in the States, you've got Thanksgiving that like separates things out a little bit. Like after Thanksgiving, kind of you're fine, but like, I don't know, some people here get really aggressive at December and Christmas and all of this.
I think as well, because it's been like a crappy year, it's just nice to get into the Christmas spirit, 100%. And just like let loose, just enjoy it. Yeah,
well, that's exactly what this week has been for me. It's been, man, I've been so neck deep in so many VR games. It's ridiculous. Like I've spent probably 30 to 40 hours in VR alone this week, and it's awesome. I'm enjoying all of it. Like, and devs are dropping such great stuff. We'll talk a little bit later about some good things, but this has been just a fantastic week, and there's more coming, and I love that. I love the fact that we are in a place now at the end of 2 kind of rubbish years where we've got just a smorgasbord of VR that you can just stuff your face into and be like, forget all the crap that's out there and just enjoy. Yeah. So that's my wish to everybody. Enjoy your VR. It's all here now.
Yeah. Good to hear it. Well, if you don't know who I am, my name is Mike, host of the show. But let's see what the chat have been up to before I share any of my own highlights.
Also, I was just kind of zoning out here, but
oh, sorry,
just listening to the news.
One show back and you forgot your responsibilities.
I was really listening. Okay, what's going on?
These days.
So there's nothing here.
Yeah,
sorry,
not too much.
But I'm sure everyone has been playing After the Fall. I can make that one up.
I saw a couple of releases being dropped in the chat. I saw Mr. Panda 06. Yeah. 606. That's also a cool name. I played a canoeing game. Do we know which one that is?
Canoeing game.
Maybe that's like kayak VR tech demo one. The one that looks beautiful in the canyons.
I thought it was the Phantom Covered Ops.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe it could be that as well.
Or it could be National Geographic. That's the other one.
Could be that one as well.
I mean, a lot of choices, a lot of canoeing games in VR.
There's quite a few.
And also Beat Saber.
Not a canoeing game.
So,
but they could do a canoeing DLC.
No more. Yeah. No more. Okay. So the chat have been at what? Wait, no. What else are they saying?
Grapple tournament.
Okay, grapple tournament as well. Yeah.
Is there another one?
No, that's the same one.
It just landed.
Tournament number 2.
I thought the game another tournament of the game. Grapple tournament.
Grapple tournament's great. I love the speed in that, like the momentum that you build up as you're swinging between stuff. That was good. We've had some good times on Grapple.
And DLG27 saying he's played Golf Plus.
Golf.
I don't know what that is.
That's what we talked about last time.
Oh, the one that changed the name? Yeah, I remember now.
Top Golf, Pro Putt,
I remember.
Golf Plus.
It's not Walkabout who changed their name,
No,
right?
No. Pro Putt. Pro Putt changed that. You did miss that, yeah. So Pro Putt changed the name to Golf Plus, which is now an amalgamation of like 3 games in one. It's a package.
Okay.
Very nice. So yeah, a bit like you guys, this last couple of weeks have been a bit problematic because my productivity levels have literally just ground to a halt in terms of like making content, which I should be doing. But I've been completely distracted by 2 main things. One is After the Fall, which of course we're going to talk about shortly. The other is Arcane. Have you been watching the show on Netflix?
No, never even heard of it.
I've watched that show like the moment it came out, like every episode, or it came out in a series of 3s. Yeah. I like binge watched that straight up. It's amazing, right? It's an amazing
totally amazing. Yeah. Came out of nowhere, kind of sideswiped me a little bit. If you're not familiar with Arcane, it's on Netflix, so if you're a Netflix subscriber, it's free. But it's like this beautifully animated story. I think it's like 9 episodes, right?
Yeah, indeed. Like it came out in 3 series of 3, I believe. About like I think 40 to 55 minutes long each episode.
That's right. Yeah,
that in that range. And the cool thing about it is that they use a mix between like animation and hand-drawn images, like hand-drawn animation, which is a really, really cool way. Very, very detailed. Even like some of the things are like screenshots that I will put on my desktop like straight away. Like there's so much to be, and a great story. Great story.
It looks beautiful. Great story. Basically a story of 2 sisters. It's got like this like emotional story to it. It's got some incredible like over the top action. I'd recommend it to anyone. It's kind of based like loosely on League of Legends, the game.
This is the League of Legends one. Okay.
It's a prequel. Yeah.
But you don't need to know anything about League of Legends to enjoy this show. But if you're stuck on a good show to watch over the holidays, go and check out Arcane on Netflix. It's amazing.
Also, if you are into League of Legends, I think it's cool to check it out because you'll recognize like many of the characters. I myself am also not really familiar with League of Legends, maybe a few characters. Yeah. But the story is great, and it's a prequel to League of Legends, so you don't need like any kind of background. So.
Definitely go and watch it. I finished it last night. Probably one of the best shows I've watched in a long time. It's that good. Oh yeah, it's got like 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone's loving this, so yeah, definitely go and check it out. Yeah. The other thing I want to share is something unusual that happened this week. So After the Fall launched, and Vertigo were really, really kind. They gave me a bunch of like quest keys to give away to my audience in my Discord. So I was having loads of fun with them, dropping keys like every day, like leading up to the launch, and I was cutting out bits of the key and dropping cryptic clues so they would have to solve the problem to earn the key, so it didn't just get like scalped in the chat. So I was having a great time with this, and I dropped a key, and they were figuring it out, and they, someone claimed it, and they were like, I got it. I was like, brilliant. And I was like, oh, maybe I should just troll with them a little bit, and I'll just drop another one like straight away without them expecting it. So I dropped another one in, and I was like, think fast, another key dropping. And then this guy called Max, he was like, guys, I just chipped my tooth. I was like, what? Like, how? How did you do this? And basically he explained that he was lying down watching the Discord and got so excited that I posted the second key that he dropped his phone on his face.
Oh,
and
no.
it chipped his front tooth. I was like, oh my God, dude, I feel awful. Like, I feel terrible because like I've made this happen. If it wasn't for me, his tooth would still be intact. So I felt really bad for him. I DM'd him, obviously gave him a free game because that was like the least I could do. But bless him, like he was really good about the whole thing. He found it quite funny, and he said that it was like an old chipped tooth that he'd had patched up, but obviously hitting it like just loosened it and broke it off.
Now he got a free gamer for it, so like
yeah, he got a free game, but he was like more worried about like how does he explain this to his wife, like how he chipped his tooth in this like really stupid way. So if you're listening to the show, Max, I just want to say I'm really sorry again, and I hope your tooth gets fixed. But who knew that giving away VR game keys would be so dangerous?
Let's hope his wife is not listening to the show, because maybe that's how she finds out.
Maybe he didn't tell her the truth.
Like, that's got to go on the Hall of Fame of VR related accidents, right? I mean, dropping a phone on your face is pretty up there. It's amazing. Yeah.
So don't browse Discord whilst lying down, and don't get too excited if I'm giving away game keys. So a bit of a weird story there, but I thought I'd share it because it was quite funny. But he was really cool about it. He sent me pictures of it. I won't share them because I didn't ask him for permission.
Or you were asking for a picture? Hey,
no. He sent a picture showing the thing. I've chipped my tooth as well when I was a kid. I hit my tooth on the edge of a bin in the playground in school. So
you didn't get a game for it. So.
I didn't get a game for it, so that's true.
There was a similar story I just wanted to share that happened in my audience this week, which is, and I didn't think this was possible. Someone had a slider keyboard next to their giant 75-inch Samsung TV, and got excited in the game, pushed the keyboard to the right, and it smashed their 75-inch TV. They sent me a picture of it. I was like, I didn't think that was possible. You could be sitting down and destroy a television. I was like, oh, God, that's horrible. And
too many televisions and monitors has come to VR.
Though. You know it's going to get worse. Did you
give them a free game, too?
Oh, God, no.
Did you give him a free game for his money?
Nothing to do with me. I just saw it, and I was like, I was crushed, because it's like a display that's that big. Do you know what do they call it? You know, you have to build, like with iPhones, right? The yield. Like, you build one iPhone and you scrap 9. Something like that, right? The yield is, like, terrible on those devices. But on TVs, it's not much better. So it's like you've got to make 3 TVs to get that one that was perfect, and now you've broken it. You know, it's just like, that's
horrible.
Terrible, man.
That's horrible.
The whole thing. Teeth and TVs.
So, right. Before we get into the news then, we should probably thank our first sponsor of this show, and that is Windlands 2 from Psytec Games. If you've never played Windlands before, like, Windlands 2 is an absolutely gorgeous co-op adventure game where you have to swing your way through the Windlands using a set of like grappling hooks, and you have to take down challenging enemies with your trusty bow. And you can do this with a team of friends as well, which makes it super, super fun. The swinging in this game is amazing. When you get into the rhythm of it, it feels just so great. And like I said, playing with friends is just the best. It's been out on PC for a while, but Windlands 2 has just released on PSVR on the PlayStation Store, or you can grab the physical version, which is just released in conjunction with Perp Games. The original Windlands is available, if you missed it, on Quest, PC, and PSVR. The sequel, Windlands 2, is only available on PC and PSVR right now, so no Quest version yet, although we're holding out that hopefully one day we'll get a Windlands 2 on the Quest. Anyway, we've added links to both Windlands and Windlands 2 on all the platforms in the description below, so thanks to Psytec Games for sponsoring the show. We really appreciate it.
Merry Purpose.
Merry Purpose, indeed.
Yeah. Oh man. And if you're looking for Windlands, I don't know, Mike, did you say that it's on App Lab, the original?
Yeah. So okay.
Not
originals
the main
on
store, because that could confuse somebody. You'd be like, I've had that before, where like you recommend a game that's on App Lab, and they're like, where is this? Yeah, and they have no idea what App Lab even is. I mean, for people who are just tuning in and who are new to this, please do look up App Lab, because it's one of the best places to get a bunch of free stuff, right? If you just want to be tooling around and not necessarily spend some money. And then if you want to support indie devs, there's some paid for stuff there as well. It's the experimental store, essentially.
Yeah, and it's very different kind of content as well.
Yeah.
App Lab is like a delicious hot dog stand without the sign above it.
Nice.
That's,
okay. Yeah.
Nice one.
I'll take it.
Wow.
I stole that one because developers call it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
But no, I do agree. Some people get confused because when I did a free games video just recently, a lot of people were like, I can't find Pavlov. And it's like, you need to use the link in the description, you know?
Yeah. It's same with Gorilla Tag, right?
But,
I mean,
yeah.
At least now it is cross-searchable. So if you use the primary search for it, I think there's like a filter, and you search for it. It shows no results, but then you expand on that filter and it'll actually be there. So now you can actually get to App Lab content through the main store, which is really important. Before, it was on its own island.
Good tip.
Which is good.
Good tip. Yeah. So the first bit of news this week is about The Matrix. We're all excited about The Matrix coming again, new movie coming. But Epic Games have just released a short tech demo and game experience combined called The Matrix Awakens. Now, sadly, this isn't available to play in VR, which is criminal in my opinion, especially about jacking in and a virtual world and everything else kind of would make sense in VR. But yeah, we're not getting a VR mode, unfortunately, but it is completely free to download and play on Xbox Series S, X, and on the PS5. Also, no PC version available either. Again, kind of sad. But what this is, this kind of experience, it showcases the latest iteration of the Unreal Engine, which is Unreal Engine 5 now, and what it's capable of on modern day consoles. And having tried it myself on the PS5, it's super impressive. They've combined a bunch of their latest tech and wrapped it all up in this kind of like Matrix themed experience. So they're using like their metahumans, their new lighting tech. Yeah. It's all in there. And they've also actually managed to get Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss on board to do some specific voice lines for it. And they also appear in it in the real sense. So what they've cleverly done is they've kind of mixed live action capture of them and also Unreal Engine characters of them. And it kind of makes you question what's real and what's not real, which is kind of the whole concept of the Matrix. Right? Yeah, and that's the thing.
We're getting past that uncanny valley. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so weird. Yeah.
This is the problem we've always had historically with like digital humans, right? Is that you have, as Rowdy rightly put it, this uncanny valley where they can look good, especially in like screenshots, they can look good, but it's when they start moving that it can be quite like, you think, oh, there's something not right here. It's not real. So it's not convincing in that sense. But with this new metahuman tech from Epic Games and using the Unreal Engine, it's getting more and more challenging to be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's digital. So during this kind of experience, you kind of get introduced to a lot of this tech in the beginning, but then you actually get to play a part of a game. So you're actually in a road chase on a highway, and you're being chased by like a team of agents. They're like jumping from car to car, and you're shooting out the back of like a car as like Neo and Trinity are in the front seat. It's really, really cool little experience. And what's amazing about it is that you could freeze frame any of that gameplay and it would look like a screenshot from a movie. Like it's so impressive. You really have to see it, and hopefully like the video that we're playing now will do it some justice. And once you've kind of played out that kind of like car chase, you're then free to explore the whole city, which is actually really big. I don't know how big it is in sort of square kilometers, but it's big enough that you could get lost in there for a couple of hours just exploring. Tons of detail in there with its own AI citizens and AI traffic system with cars and trucks, and all with like realistic lighting, night day effects, which is incredible. And the cool thing is you can go on.
Let me ask like about this, like because this is of course like this is a tech demo, but it seems to be like a lot of work to be done for only a tech demo. Do you think that they're working maybe behind the scenes, like turning this into something, maybe not VR, but maybe something of a PC big title?
Well, I think what they're planning to do with this tech is to have it as assets that maybe developers can use in their own projects. So, you know, the problem has always been that if you're an indie developer, like to create a world like this is like, it's just impossible. You know, you couldn't do it on a budget. Whereas if they release this as some sort of like asset that you can buy or use or rent or whatever, then maybe you could implement this in your own game and build on it from there, which would be super smart, right? Yeah. But the detail in this environment is really incredible. You can fly right up into the sky and look at it from above with all the different lighting. You can zoom straight down to like road level and look at the minutia detail of like the textures on the road. And some of the screenshots I've seen from this experience have been absolutely phenomenal. And you would be, again, hard pressed to say that that's not real, right? It's that good. Yeah. But I think what was really interesting about this was that I watched an interview with Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, who, you know, were talking, I think it's to The Verge, about being involved in this project. And what they were saying was that this is going to kind of blur the lines between video games and movies in the future, because movie makers are using the Unreal Engine to make digital sets or digital characters and use it in movie production. And that means that if they end up making a game crossover, they could use the same assets because they've already been made and made the game experience more, lifelike and more like, you know, on par with what the movie shows, which is really interesting. Okay. So yeah, did any of you, have you guys sort of checked this out, or is it just me on
only
PS5?
I've seen footage, but I haven't tried it.
Yeah, so I watched it through, but the thing, I mean, I'm putting just the intro scene with Keanu and Trinity. it's just amazing. Like my wife's jaw just dropped, right? Because it's like that's not real. It's like that's not real. Do you remember a few years ago we had something like this where there was like a lit sneaker with translucent plastic at the base of the sneaker? Surely Nathan must have seen this tweet. And it was sat there, and it was like a video going around it or whatever. And all that lighting was, I think it was either Google or Apple's like AR essentially. And it's similar kind of thing here, where it's just like you're floored by the tech. It's kind of unbelievable that we're there already. And I remember the first time this happened to me was like Jurassic Park, I think, when you saw like the skin of the Tyrannosaurus Rex or whatever. You know, you're at that level where you're like, wow, that is where we are with cinematography. And now we're going to, at some stage, have that in a game. And like you said, I mean, this just to me, it just reeks of a Matrix equivalent Grand Theft Auto. Like the amount of scenes, the lighting, it almost feels like, you know, you have GTA 5 as your cornerstone at the minute. And this almost goes to like 5.5 in terms of the tech stack. And it makes me wonder, like, what are the people behind, you know, Rockstar and GTA 6 that they're working on? They're looking at this going, like there's things that we need in our game now, you know what I mean? Because the bar has been pushed a little bit higher.
I think for myself, like the first game that really like pushed that border in my experience was Detroit Become Human.
I knew you was going to say that. I
think Mike played that as well.
Yeah, I did.
And, particularly not in terms of like visuals, I would say, because you know it's an older title, but in the way that they did like, you know, facial animations and like, you know, how speech was done in that game, and like how especially like the main menu of that game, it's crazy. That will always stick by me as a point that I was like, damn, like they can do this now.
Yeah, and I think in VR, like the closest we've come to something like that, I think is like Lone Echo 2. With the facial animations there, they're so believable. You know, you do believe that you're with this character.
Like maybe also, but that was just a kind of a cheat in a sense, was LA Noire in VR as well. But that's more of like a video playing on someone's face. But still, it looks very uncanny.
That looks good, but that's like definitely like a generation or maybe even two generations back.
Yeah. So while The Matrix Awakens can't be played in VR, it does give us an amazing showcase of what the Unreal Engine 5 is capable of, and what future flat and VR games could potentially look like in the future. It's definitely worth checking out if you've got an Xbox Series S, X, or a PS5. Of course, the movie Matrix Resurrections is coming out on the 22nd of December in cinemas. I'm super hyped for it. I just pray that they don't mess it up.
I'm not sure if you've seen it yesterday, but an interview came out with Keanu on, like, you know, the Matrix and also NFTs and stuff. Yep. And they also asked him what he thought of the metaverse.
Yep.
And then, well, basically what it comes down to is he said, like, you know, the metaverse should be for everyone. He basically wanted to say, I hate Facebook, they suck. But he didn't say that because for legal reasons, I'm sure he doesn't want to nuke the whole, you know, movie before it's even happening, because then people are not talking about the launch of that anymore. But it was very interesting to see that he knows his shit, basically.
Oh, he totally knows. It was in that interview.
Avoiding all of the trailers and the interviews because I like to be surprised when I see these things. I'll watch it afterwards.
Yeah. I think you'll be impressed. Like visually, everything looks great so far. But you're right. In that interview, it was the same interview with The Verge that I watched today that kind of gave us some more background about it. But they did ask him what he thought about like the metaverse, and he said, you know, the phrase the metaverse doesn't belong to Facebook. They didn't invent it. He was just saying that the phrase the metaverse was way back, you know, like it's not a new thing. That's what he was trying to allude to.
And the NFT thing was even funnier. Where what did the man say again? It was like,
he said, "How do you feel about NFTs and digital rights and owning assets?" And he was like, "Assets that you could easily duplicate," and then laughed. So he was kind of trolling there, but cool interview. Go and check it out. It's on the Verge YouTube channel if you want to go and watch that in full. But that's the Matrix Awakens sort of tech demo from Epic Games showing off the Unreal Engine 5. So hopefully we get to see some Unreal Engine 5 VR games in the future. So let's talk about After the Fall, because this is where it gets exciting for me, because I've been itching to talk about this with Zim. We've been playing a lot together, and every time we kind of start talking about it, we're like, hey, wait for the podcast.
True.
We've all played it, right? I think. Brady, you said you played it earlier as well, so So yeah, we should have a good sort of roundtable on this one. I should be clear as well before we get into like talking about the game. Both Nathy and I were sponsored to play the game by the creators of Vertigo Games. I think it's important to kind of disclose that, so you're aware of any possible bias as we talk about the game. But with that said, we only accepted the deal that if we could be honest with our opinions on it. So, and I feel like in both our videos and reviews, we were both pretty fair with balanced opinions on things we both liked and disliked. But I just thought I'd mention that to make it clear for everyone. So maybe as Zim's been spending a lot of time in this game, maybe I should chuck it over to you first.
As our Left 4 Dead expert.
How do you rate this off?
I only care about Zim's opinion, to be honest. Like, I mean, we can all give our opinion, but like, I only care what Zim has to say.
I went through a really interesting curve with this game. In that, in the first 2 or 3 hours, I mean, I've got a 3-tier rating system, and for me, it was a consider. Very, very much on the edge, going towards a buy for the first probably 5 hours. And it isn't the social that brought it for me. It's mid game. The mid game in this game is absolutely fantastic. Like once you get past that first 3-4 hours, you're past the starter pistol, you're into actual gameplay. It doesn't matter if you jump into a lobby with other people, cross-platform works. For me, it has been seamless. PlayStation players, Quest players, PC, all just working together. The one thing that I would say is the biggest kind of issue at the moment, and it's an addressable issue, is that it's too cumbersome in the social side of things. In other words, you can't jump into that 32-person room, that lobby, that staging area, and just talk to people openly and say, hey, you want to have a game or whatever. You can't speak. There's not even text. You can't even send someone a message. So you're basically in there with duct tape over your mouth and then having to find a way. Everyone's doing sign language. It's bloody stupid, right? That part is not good, right? If you can get friend codes from people, or if you can just sit down at one of the terminals and queue up for a random game with random people, both of those work fine, and they're very easy. And it's the VoIP in the game is what's the term I'm looking for? Location based. There's a term for it. I'm losing.
Server based.
No. What I mean is, so if Mike's standing on my right side, I'll hear him there, right? And then if he moves ahead of me, so there's, what did you say? Positional audio. Positional audio. There we go.
Okay, positional audio. Yeah.
So, but I would say this game is absolutely fantastic. It is easy enough for people to get on board, and I'm going to shame anyone out there who has trouble with the advanced weapon reloading system, because there's two options. You can either do Arizona Sunshine, tap your chest to reload your pistol, or you can do full board, drop the mag, reinsert mag, pull the slider, right? It differs per weapon. Shotgun, for example, you reload under barrel, and then you have to pump it for every shot. All of these feel great. My 5-year-old and 7-year-old both have beaten the game with me on advanced reload. Okay, and they both know how to do that. So, and it is just so fun. It is so fun. Once you friend up with people, all you want to do is just play more. And having beaten it through on the easy mode, on the second difficulty, now several of the levels on master, and there's a harder difficulty yet.
And we've experimented with the nightmare mode as well, right?
We've had some accidental experimentation with some mishaps. It was so funny.
Can I share this story?
Give the story, please.
Okay. So
I'm sorry.
Me and Zim have been playing a lot, right? We've unlocked a lot of stuff. We've collected a lot of harvest, and also to mention when you're manually reloading, you get a 50% harvest bonus, so you get more cash. So there's an incentive there to do it that way. Yeah. So we've been upgrading our gear, and we've got our weapons the way we like it. Sights, grips, color changes, everything. So I jump in and I'm like, let's play some more. And Zim goes, good luck. I'm like, what do you mean? And we're like on the last level. He's like, good luck. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, this is hard as balls. Like, what's happened? Something's changed. And I'm like, did you crank up the difficulty? He was like, yeah. But I was like, you didn't put it on nightmare, did you? Which is the hardest difficulty. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, dude. The problem is if you die whilst you're playing the nightmare difficulty, you lose the guns that you're carrying. So
all the unlocks.
All the unlocks that come with them, meaning you have to buy them all again and upgrade your weapons again. And obviously we got team wiped because it was just 2 of us.
Oh, it was real quick.
And the AI, it was like 10
started
10
with like 2 bots.
It was like 10 seconds. We were done.
It cost us both about 10,000 harvest each in guns, because the gun, the skin, the barrel, all the stuff that you can get for the gun that you customize and you carry with you, and it's like your pride and joy gone in seconds. Sorry, Mike, again, but Yeah.
I'll forgive him in time.
One of these days, the thing is, I feel like you want to instantly set up a crew anyway, because it's just so infectious. You want to get that crew together, just like back in Left 4 Dead. And honestly, when I started off, I didn't think this game was going to satisfy me for the Left 4 Dead feel. It's absolutely satisfying. It's tick in the box, in my opinion. And hearing from the devs as well, I just want to call out one thing, because 10% of the world out there is left-handed, and the devs have responded to the fact that the left-handed mode, for example, doesn't have you walking around. My wife's a lefty, some of my best friends are lefty. It's like, it's a big deal. They're working on that, okay? All this stuff that can be kind of fixed that isn't a core design issue, most of the stuff that I've seen is like not a big problem. I think the biggest trouble that they're going to have is trying to re-engineer a little bit that first hour or that first half hour from the tutorial introduction into the lobby. Like those 32 voices, you probably can't do on a server for 32 speaking to 32. It's probably a networking design issue. So what they really should do, I've seen this recommendation on Twitter, and I agree. When you've partied up, that should connect VoIP. You shouldn't have to be in the same lobby, because
100%.
The fact that you can party with someone and not be in the same space with them, it's the only VR game I know that does that. It's freaking weird. And they need to fix that. Yeah.
When you want to play with a dedicated team.
Exactly. When you know who you want to play with.
Exactly. And I think to add on to the back of that is like once you've done your run through with your dedicated team, for some reason it breaks you all back up again and boots you back into the lobby. And there should be an option just to stick with your team and carry on playing without having to use the voting system, because some of the maps aren't included in the voting system.
The thing is, and the other selection is really weird. Like you have a map showing the 5 available maps that we have at the moment, and you have to deselect. You don't just select the map you want to play. It's like putting ticks in boxes. You're saying maps 1 and 2, and most people will make this mistake. They'll select the starter map and then the one that they actually want to play. They'll go click play with their team, and they'll find they're on the starter map again. They're like, what happened? Because they didn't unselect it in the first instance. So there's a number of quality of life improvements. One of the things I'd really like to see, because once you've, as a team, unlocked these maps and you're able to play together with them, and you want to play again, like Mike is saying, I think that arcade cabinet at the end of your first, whatever the first mission is you did, should allow you to then swap to customize your weapons or whatever then and there, without having to go back to the main hub again. Because otherwise, if you want to change from a shotgun to an Uzi, you have to go back to the hub, run down the hallway, customize your weapon, which all feel great. And if anyone's curious why there's a big trash compactor disposal that grinds things up, as you upgrade the parts of your weapon, the stuff that you've upgraded falls on the table, or you zap it off or whatever. You throw that in the trash compactor, you grind it up, you get the money back for those parts.
But like, because I was struggling with that a little bit. I couldn't figure out how to get the trash compactor to work, because I was dropping stuff in there. You close it,
hard close, yeah.
You need to like pull it further down.
Yeah, you just like a total close. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's funny that in the 2019 version of this game, you could actually craft your weapons during your gameplay.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad they took that out. I'm glad they took that out.
So now you have to go back to the lobby first.
Yeah, I watched an interview with Upload VR about that, and they said the reason why they took it out of the game was that people were spending far too much time upgrading their gear in between the shooting sessions, and that slows down the momentum of the game.
But you could put a countdown on that. I mean, there are games where you get like in Killing Floor, for example, you get like like a minute or two to buy stuff, and then the game restarts and the market closes and it pushes you out into the game again.
I'm pretty happy they went with that decision personally. I think.
Yeah. Because the thing is, even if you had it so just like in Left 4 Dead, you have safe rooms, right? So you have a section, a safe room, a section, a safe room. So in the safe room, you have the ability to get some ammo. You have the ability to buy some stuff if you want, at the sacrifice of your own personal harvest. So you have a wallet, basically, you carry into the game. You can buy a couple of bits. There, you could potentially customize. But like what Mike's saying, I think it would just slow down the dynamic of the group, and you'd be waiting on somebody. That one member of the group who always wants to accessorize. Rowdy. It's just that way. But fantastic game. Absolutely. The sound design is great. The enemy scaling is cool. It's so funny. My kids were like, oh, I wish we even had even bigger bad guys. I'm like, that guy's pretty freaking huge. He's 2 stories tall or whatever, the big boss. I would like to see a little bit more variety. I think that's one of your remarks as well, Mike, as you were saying that variety. They have some more planned pipeline content that's coming. It sounds like imminent, maybe next 2 months.
Well,
So
it's
that's a guess.
it's interesting because I was like, where did all the enemies go? And as you all guys also played the 2019 version of this game, I was like, where did the zombies go? They have 2 or 3 zombie types that they took out of the game that they're probably gonna add back in at some point. There's a spitter that spits at you from a distance.
They might have also chosen because back in the day they were quite Left 4 Dead-esque, you know, like the original enemies. So they might have. I mean, we still got the Boomer, which is called the Eater, and he explodes and you get black vision.
Yeah, so they took out a few types that were very Left 4 Dead, but maybe they also took them out so they can put that into a content package, like we're pushing more, so they hook people more. Because if you throw all of the enemy types in the game straight away and you launch it, then what's else to add, right? So now with content packs, you can be like, oh, we get 3 new zombie types.
Obviously. So they already have a PvP mode, which is humans v humans 4v4. I want them to bring in the enemies. I want to be one of the bad zombies. Like, I don't care if I'm slow or fucking whatever. Just like bring that. I don't care if it takes you a year to build it. That's worth building. And the other thing I have to say is the bodies. They kept. I can't believe they did it. I think I mentioned the last podcast. They kept the bodies. You can literally pile halfway up a door frame, and then if you want to get through it, you can take your shotgun and fucking clear the way, and limbs fly everywhere. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think the great thing is with this game is that it's cross-platform with all platforms. So you got Quest 2 players, PlayStation players, Steam players, and I think the PSVR version had a bit of a rough launch because they launched an unfinished build or something like that. But I think that was quickly patched out and resolved. And all the PSVR players I've seen in there now seem to be having a great time with it. Like you said, the only criticism I really had with it is because it's got like 5 co-op harvest runs available right now. You can blast through them pretty quickly, but it's all about the replayability and upgrading finding discs, which you then bring back to the safe house to then upgrade your gear later on. They kind of unlock blueprints which you can then buy to upgrade your kit later on, which is cool. And I think it definitely scratches that Left 4 Dead itch, but it's just the variety in the enemy types. The big boss battles, you tend to fight that same guy over and over again, which is a bit disappointing. But like you said, Vertigo have real big plans to support this game heavily post-launch. So they've got their new content pack that is coming like within the next week or so, I think, that includes a new harvest run, new PvP map, new weapons, new enemies, a new game mode, which they haven't told everyone what it is yet, but it's pretty cool. So yeah, and that's all free content for anyone that owns a game on any platform right now. So I think it's a great start from them, and I'm really excited to see what happens with this game in the future.
Yeah, they weren't like, I did ask them, it's like, are you gonna go for some season pass kind of trick? But they said they weren't going to do that, so they're not trying to make more money off this game. So it's basically the game, and the stuff that they're gonna add is gonna be free.
Yeah, I think they might add some paid skins and stuff like cosmetic items.
Fair enough.
But I'd be happy with that. I think the only thing else I'd like to see, and it's funny because I thought you was almost going to mention it with the PvP, adding zombies that you could play. And I was like, well, what I'd actually want is still be PvP, but add also PvE in there as well. So you're also playing against the zombies as well as your opponents. It kind of adds a nice mix, especially if you had like a bomb that attracted the zombies that you could then throw at the opposite team and like swarm them.
We had that in Frostpoint. Cool. Do you remember? And
I never played Frostpoint.
Because the trouble is, unless the enemies are a real, unless they serve like a real threat, it just gets kind of like your batting flies. And that was a 10v10 with the PvE element in a PvP. So 10v10 players with these zombies essentially that would spawn. And although it kind of sounds cool on paper and playing it, I think you'd find it's not as cool and dynamic as it seems. It feels like it would be flight of the moment, right? You have to tune it right, is what I would say. I still would say experiment and see what's fun, but
I think what they should also do is like allow mods, because if you look at Left 4 Dead and the whole workshop they got, for example, the Lord of the Rings Left 4 Dead map, that's like a classic. It's like, it's amazing, and it plays just as fine as a stock map. So I definitely think they should or have a map builder, or open it up. I don't know if that's going to work on Quest. We know the rules and meta and this and that, but on PC, for example, it could totally work. I think it would be amazing.
I think we should touch on the difference between platforms as well. So have any of you guys played the the PSVR version of this? Because I have not.
No.
Okay, so we don't have any experience with that.
PC. Yeah.
But yeah, PC and Quest 2, there's quite a difference in the visuals. It's like it's a relatively stark difference between the two. I would actually go so far as to say that Quest 2 runs great. I have not seen any hitches in it, which is I don't know how they did it on that platform with that number of bodies and things like that. I mean, they do bring the visuals quite a bit back, so they feel like call them Robo Recall or Walking Dead stripped back. If you've played those games, you'll know what I mean. Like the textures are a bit muddier and stuff like that. The lighting is out, so flashlights aren't there, sadly. That's the one thing that I'd say.
Oh, wow.
You know, you're surprised. That's the one that's kind of a surprise that's missing. But PC is the game location to play it on if you have that option for you. It's lovely with some of it's foggy, misty. Again, when the eater explodes, that black murkiness that is around you just gives a real sense of environment. I like that.
Last time as well, like the visuals of the game, it's like a bit of refreshing, right? To like be playing a game like that on PC again.
On PC,
that just looks so good.
Yeah, if you get it's cross-buy, so you can buy the Rift version or the Quest version. So if you've got a PC capable of it, then definitely try it, because it really adds to the atmosphere of the game. It almost changes the way you feel about it when you're playing. There seems to be more danger, it feels like, on the PC version, because you do have to kind of guide the way with flashlights alone. And when you see your colleagues also using flashlights, it looks incredible. But other than that, you know, like you say, they've done a great job in bringing the game to, you know, what must have been an absolute nightmare bringing it to Quest.
Just across those platforms, all that working. I mean, I don't remember a game being this. I mean, this, for me, right, I really liked Pop 1 at launch, and I knew it wouldn't last for me because Battle Royale just tends to, you kind of get sick of it. And they've thrown lots into it, but I'm sick of Pop 1. I almost rarely touch it. This is the kind of game that I can see myself playing for 6 months solid. Because the thing that I like about it, this is the thing, I was exploring some of the unlockables. So yes, you unlock bits of the gun, different grips, duct tape that you can put to steady your hand, all this kind of cool stuff. But you also get, the more kills you get and the more achievements you unlock different paint jobs. And again, there's like a pride of ownership. Like I now have my punishing purple shotgun of death, and it's amazing. But some of the skins, it's insane. You have to get, one of them is, you have to get 3 nightmare missions completed back to back with 100 headshots.
Oh my god, no.
Isn't that insane? Like you've tasted Nightmare. Nightmare is bloody hard. So anyone rocking that skin is going to get my respect 100%.
It's just we haven't, like in the VR scene, we haven't seen many looter shooters. And if there was a looter shooter, it was usually single player or maybe with one other person, but not like a 4-player co-op experience. So basically, they were smart. They knew Left 4 Dead was around. They probably looked at some other shooters like Killing Floor as well, and some, because there are a lot of these kind of like zombie shooters that have this kind of grindy thing to it that is very addicting. And they just decided to turn it into VR, and it's instant success. So sometimes you just have to look at something that is a successful formula. Also, Back 4 Blood, maybe they also played that. Although I still think Left 4 Dead is better than Back 4 Blood, but you can kill me for that later.
No, definitely.
But it looks nicer, but that's about it. But yeah, I think they were just smart to kind of turn their experience with Arizona into like a formula with Left 4 Dead, and
pivoted really well.
You can definitely feel that they're like experienced developers in VR. You feel that when you're playing the game. Also, they kept that kind of, I mean, there's a lot of references to Arizona Sunshine in there as well. Like, for example, the pistols that you pick up, it's like the Arizona Falcon I saw in there. You have like still like the floppy disks.
Yeah, but also the gunplay. The gunplay is also very
Of
Arizona.
course, like
very tight.
These are like very experienced VR developers, and the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about, but again, I mean, it's not really a valid point of criticism because this is a multiplayer title. It's like you do need friends to play this game, or you need to be so socially active that you go in there and you meet people, you go into lobbies with them. But a game like this is only really fun when you have like a crew to play it with. I think I've tried like a couple of missions single player, and it's you just run through the game, and like it's not as special as it is when you have like like a good crew going on, or you're playing it even better with friends. Like if you're playing it with people that you know, it's so much more. It comes more to out there. You know what I mean? Like
I think as well. Better. We said this about Demio as well in the past, from Resolution Games. Yeah. We're a big fan of that, and part of that is because we played it all together, and I think that's the same magic with this game. You can have a reasonably fun game, but add your friends to the mix that you could play cooperatively. Then it just makes it a whole better experience.
And that is the reason why I'm bringing this up, because of course we have the luxury of knowing a lot of people in VR, playing VR together. So that's just something that I want to bring up, that it would be valuable if you would buy this with other people that also have a VR headset and play together with them. Because I think if you hear us, raving about this game and saying, oh, it's great, but if you then go in there and then,
but there's
give it some time to grow there.
And you're right, there are like also different like multiplayers that you can play alone without any voice chat, and you can still enjoy it. And there are others like this one where you want to communicate together. Like for example, I play Halo all the time, and I don't talk to anyone, and I don't know anyone, but it's still fun. You know what I mean?
But a lot of people in VR, of course. But I can imagine there's a lot of people out there that also don't like talking to people. I mean, I don't like it. I mean, I don't go in there and like start talking to random and playing with random people. So I can imagine that there's people like that who play this game and then mainly try the single player experience. I've played Left 4 Dead a lot of single player, a lot of that as a single player experience. Still enjoyed it.
But the bots aren't. I was just gonna say the bots aren't dumb. The bots are pretty decent. It doesn't let the game down, and I thought that they would. You can complete a single player run with just bots in you, and I would say they feel quite competent. They don't carry you. I tried to do a pacifist run. Tried to do it with, I'm not going to kill it. I'm just going to walk around and let my bots do it. Didn't get me very far.
Only you would try that, Ziv.
Yeah, you got to test it out. And then also because I think it's a fair thing to say, friendship bias, if you want to call it that, like playing with people you know. Now, not everyone's comfortable with going in and just hooking up with strangers. but I am. That's great. Wow. You can comment. You can just quote me on that one.
On that point, just to
really
go a little bit further. Just go a little bit further on that. I do think it's very important what you highlighted in the beginning, that I think that the social lobby system in the beginning is not really good enough in order to motivate people to play together. I do think that needs to be rethought a little bit in order to make it easier for people like, the people that I'm describing that go in there not having friends that have VR headset as well, to make it easier for them to find a lobby to connect with people that are also trying to look for it.
The good thing is that the lobby system, I actually found the lobby system a little confusing, and I'll just talk you through that so anyone here who's just getting the game doesn't have to learn the same mistakes, right? So there's basically 3 options when you go in. First, you can just queue up, and if you have 1, 2, 3 people, it'll drop you in and it'll look for another a pairing, right, to fill the slots. Now, the thing I'm curious about is the permutations here are a little bit interesting because you have all the difficulty modes, you have all the maps. So if I'm trying to get a crew together for Nightmare on one map, probably very few people playing that right now. It's likely it'll be like looking for players for quite some time, I'd imagine. And I like to think that that's probably going to come true for the other modes at some stage as well, because there's quite a few permutations. But if you have people there, it can just start. It can kind of launch, and there'll be a star next to the name of the leader and all that. The reason I'm mentioning this is there's another major bug in terms of the design right now. If a lobby host is sat there idle as a leader and has queued up a game or isn't quite sure what's going on, which is I suspect what's happening right now in the first week after launch, they'll be sat there, and all you can do is you're staring at the names in the lobby. So let's say it's Mike and Nathan. I don't know who they are. They're just off somewhere, and they're the first 2 people. And I get in with my wife and I jump in. Now I've joined a room with them essentially, but it's waiting on Mike to start. And it's waiting on Mike to start. And there's nothing I can do to tell Mike, yo, wake up, buddy, start the game. The only thing they have is a nudge system, which if you click on Mike's name, there's a hand icon. I push that, and it'll give him a prompt that says, 7.5 has nudged you, something to that effect. And hopefully he gets the idea that, these guys want to start the game. That right now is dead ending a lot of games, and the problem is say that's the level you want to do. If I back out, I reform my party and I queue up again, it'll sit me again with Mike again, and I can't go anywhere. So, there's that option. There's the private option, which is there, thankfully. And you can also just go it alone. Solo.
At least it works, because if you played Arizona and you tried to team up with someone, it didn't work at all. So I mean, this is already a good start compared to what they had before.
But like you guys say, I think we all share the opinion that it's a great start from Vertigo Games, and this game has a lot of potential if they look after it and do like regular updates, like Big Box did with Population 1, and there's constant content, events. And get the community involved, then I think we've got something potentially really special on our hands here.
I think so. Yeah, but they probably are like focused on actual content, because I feel like Big Box is so focused on skins nowadays that I don't see a reason to return to the game for something actually.
That's what microtransactions bring them.
I know, money.
If I was Vertigo, though, I would put my muscle into, firstly, that lefty thing. Secondly, just get that introduction, that first, that first intro. How do I party with people? Issues sorted. Like talking. I think just that idea, right? Talking to the 4 people I teamed up with. That's got to be out within the month. If it's not, it's a problem for them. And then focus on getting the content out. But the core is so solid. It's absolutely a buy from me as a Left 4 Dead fan. I'm grateful they brought it. I didn't think it was going to be possible. And I'm so glad they kept the piles of bodies, because that is just escalate.
Yeah. So that's after the fall. Definitely worth checking out. And looking forward to more content coming in the future. So let's move on now to something a bit interesting. I'm talking about hardware. And this is the Arpara 5K.
Was that what you said was the headset of the year?
No. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll probably see this story already panned out. But let me run you through it. Also, if you've got any questions about this headset, because there is a few people interested in this headset that are a bit sort of on the fence whether they should get this or not, feel free to drop your questions in there. I should cover everything in this little segment, but I'll answer your questions at the end if I've missed anything. So let me sort of switch my camera over using the magic of the internet, so you can see the headset here on my table. Can you guys see that okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Let me bring this over.
It looks like a lot of adult toys. Is that what that is?
Yeah, Mike. Is this the right camera?
This is the right camera. Hello.
Not what he showed us before.
I'm sure Mike's watch would agree.
All right. You guys always have to bring this podcast through the mud, don't you? I'm trying to do something professional here. You just bring it right back down again.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So if you're a VR enthusiast and you're on Twitter or Facebook, you've probably seen ads for this headset. This is the Arpara headset. They've been pumping loads of money into adverts recently, specifically on those platforms. And that's where I actually saw this for the first time as well. And prior to that, I'd never heard of Arpara as a company before. So quite honestly, I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. But shortly after I saw these ads, they actually reached out to me and said, we've got this product. We've got 2 products in the works. We've got this tethered PC VR headset, which is the one that I'm holding in my hands now. And they've also got like a white all-in-one standalone headset that is coming out soon. And I think their plan is to release both of these headsets as Kickstarter campaigns.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mike. That tiny headset tethers. That's a tethered one.
That's the tethered one, yeah.
Jesus. Okay. Yep.
It's tiny. It is tiny. Let me just grab the Quest 2 so I can do a side-by-side. Hold on.
It looks like a phone. Like it looks like a 90s phone that you'd have in a car. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's exactly how it looks
answer
like
it.
Because I've got small hands, so maybe the scale isn't doing it justice. But you can see here how tiny it is in comparison to the Quest 2. Like it
looks like a
really
facial
tiny
interface, honestly.
Yeah,
it looks like it goes on top of it.
And this thing, it only weighs 200 grams. So the Quest 2 is 500 grams. So this kind of weighs similar weight to the Vive, the HTC Vive Flow. So very, very light, very small. So the first thing that happened, I'll sort of guide you through the story, was that they sent me a box and it had a white headset on the front of it, and inside was actually this black headset. So it was kind of a bit misleading. So that was kind of like the first red flag for me. I was like, what the heck's going on with this product? The second thing is that it didn't ship with any tracking solution other than a separate one, which is from Nolo. And if you're familiar with Nolo, we've talked about this 3-4 years ago as a tracking solution for the Oculus Go before the Quest launch.
Jesus. It wasn't good back then, was it?
No. And this was a way that you could add 6 degrees of freedom tracking to the Go before, like I say, the Quest was a thing. And literally nothing has changed. And it kind of shipped with this tracking solution. So that was the second red flag for me. And I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. Aside from that, they also shipped me an Elite strap, which I'll get into a little bit shortly, and this long cable. So the cable is actually like a Belkin cable. It's not their own proprietary cable. They ship it with this Belkin cable, which is actually designed for the Huawei glasses headset, which I think is an AR headset or sort of maybe a hybrid. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. But they ship it with this like a long cable. It's basically DisplayPort, 2 USBs, A's that you plug into your computer, and then a USB-C on the end, which you plug into the actual headset itself. I'll try and get a bit of a closer up of it.
Yeah, that looks proper chunky. That looks like...
Oh yeah, it's a proper chunky. And to be honest, like it slots in at the front here.
Oh my God, and in a downward-facing position? Does that just pull out?
Well, yeah, that was exactly the problem I had. So,
because the reason, when you first said, Mike, about the headset being so small and light, the thing is, if you have it tethered, it's going to pull the headset around. And this looks even worse than I was imagining, because it's literally vertically downwards. Is anything holding that in?
No, well, no, that's the problem, because it should really be a right angle here, so you can run the cable to the back of the head strap. But they sent it out like this, and the problem was initially this cable, like Zim rightly said, would just keep falling out. So I was like, they shipped me a broken cable, and I kind of updated my Twitter to say that, and then I reached out to them and said that I can't get the headset working, the cable doesn't work or it's broken, and they actually sent me a video of how to trim this down. So they were like, you need to shave your cable, bro. I was like, oh, of course. How stupid of me. I didn't even consider the fact that I had to shave my cable before I used it with this headset. Yeah. So as you can see, I've kind of like cut away the plastic at the base of this USB-C connector, and now it kind of fits in the headset more snugly with a click. So it doesn't sort of wobble out as much as it did, although still not in an ideal solution.
It does look like
we had a,
just for the audio listeners
from the chat.
I just wanted to say that it does look like Ruby the dog had a bit of a gnaw on the end of that cable.
Yeah, of course. That's exactly. Go on, Ray.
Yeah, we had a question from the chat. We had Norman Robinson asking, will the Arpara standalone version also come in black?
I think the Arpara standalone version comes in white, and you can tell it obviously because it's got the cameras on each corner of the headset, just like the Quest 2 does. That's the way you can kind of differentiate the products. I don't know why they sent this in a white with a white headset on the box and sent a black one. Maybe there's going to be a white tethered headset, but yeah, I really don't know, to be honest.
You don't know if there's going to be a standalone black version.
I don't think there's going to be a standalone black one. I think the standalone's definitely white.
Right.
So where this does get interesting, there are some interesting things about this headset. So after I resolved the cable situation, I shaved it down. I was actually able to get it to work. It connects to the PC using DisplayPort, 2 USBs, and then you chuck the Nolo device, which kind of like slots into a USB port on the top there. So that kind of pops in like that. You turn the Nolo base station on, you pair the controllers, you download the Arpara software, and then you can use it with Steam VR. Right. So straight off the bat, the Nolo tracking thing is absolute garbage. Like,
so it's sixed off.
It's no go.
But it's garbage sixed off.
Absolute garbage. Like these controllers are the same controllers they were shipping 3-4 years ago. They've got a trackpad on them, which is useless. The tracking of these is just terrible. And the problem
Mike, the ones you're showing, are those are new you received this year, or these are the old ones?
These are the new ones. Okay. Yeah, these are the new ones. Okay. Yeah.
They're the same. They're
exactly the same. And even as someone like me that's well experienced in setting up VR headsets, multiple different headsets I've set up over the years, this took me forever to get it right. It's just a nightmare. It's horrible for a first-time user. I think any first-time user would have just given up. They would no way have persevered. It's only because I was genuinely intrigued that I persevered and eventually got it working, and played a bit of Beat Saber, That was about it. That was all like really could play with these trackpads.
Can I ask you a quick question? The node at the end. So these look like Move controllers that have been fused with the original Go remote that had the little pad. It's really weird.
Yeah.
At the end, aside from being like a little device out of Star Wars or something that you'd hit with a lightsaber, is that optical tracking? Are those cameras?
They're not cameras, but they're little IR lights, I believe. Yeah, and they're tracked by the base station. That uses it.
And it has to be in view, I take it.
It has to be in view, and obviously you only get one of these. So like normally with like base station tracking, you have 2 or 3 to give you good positional positioning. Yeah,
it's kind of like like. It sounds like the if you ask your mom for Christmas to get like an Oculus Quest and she like brings this home, that's kind of like what happens, right?
It can happen.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. So yeah, I got it up and running. Played some Beat Saber. Played some Half-Life Alyx as well. And so there's a few things I do like about this. Like I want to be clear, there are a couple of good things. It uses micro OLED displays, so there's tiny little micro OLED displays behind these lenses. And the thing with micro OLED, if you follow, like, sadly, it's Bradley, he's been talking about micro OLED forever, about like Valve prototypes and stuff like that. And he's right to be excited about it because, the contrast on these displays is really great. Black levels are black. There's no gray, there's no mud there. It's pure black and it looks great. So that's good. Resolution wise, that's where things get a bit problematic because the problem is the resolution on this, it's kind of got two modes. You've kind of got a 2D mode and a 3D mode. So the buttons here on the side switch it between 2D mode and 3D mode. So this is actually designed to be used as like a media viewer paired, like connected to like an Android phone with a USB-C connection. And you can also, with a different cable, use it to connect to a games console with HDMI and just use it as a screen essentially.
Okay. That's an interesting. Okay, so that's actually quite interesting to me because you could connect it to, for example, a Switch or something like that.
Yeah.
HDMI connection, you said.
Although that I haven't tried that cable. This is just purely what they say. In terms of like 2D resolutions, you've got 1920 by 1080 standard. It goes up to 2560 by 1440, and can switch between 60 hertz and 120 hertz. So they're the 2D modes.
Is that real 60 and 120? Or do you know, does it do any interpolation between frames and stuff to achieve that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But because I didn't get to test that, that's the problem.
That's fine.
I only tested the 3D mode, which is the VR mode. With the VR mode, and you've got a few different resolution options, but they're linked directly to frame rate. So, you can go 2560 by 2560 resolution per eye, which is great, but you're only able to push that at 30 hertz. With the current cable solution that they're using. They say that they'll be able to unlock that in the future, but again, I'm super skeptical. With the cable that they provided, you can only get 2560 by 2560 at 30 hertz, which is
30 hertz.
Yeah, useless. You can if you want.
His face is melting right now. It's amazing.
If you want to increase the frame rate, you can go 1920 by 1920 per eye at 60 hertz. That was the only mode that actually worked with this.
For comparison, that's substantively less even than Oculus Go, right?
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah,
terrible.
Well, 1920 resolution. That's
that's a good third less.
At that point, at 1920 by 1920, it looks good because of the lenses. The lenses are pancake lenses, so they don't have any like Fresnel edges or anything like that. So they're completely clear. You don't see any glare.
Yeah.
That combo with the micro OLED, really nice. Also, around these lenses, you've got diopter adjustment. So if you've got if you wear corrective glasses, you can dial in your prescription, and you don't have to wear glasses with this VR headset, which is also super nice. We saw that obviously on the Vive Flow.
That's individual really lens by lens. Like if you have two different.
If I can get it close enough, you might be able to see the numbers on the side there, and you basically just basically twist it like this, and that adjusts the diopter. So I think it's up to like -5 is the maximum.
But how's the wear like for your face shape, for your question. European face shape, basically?
Terrible.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Because the thing is, like this headset reminds me a bit of the DP VR headset, where the headsets are designed for, let's say, Asian faces, and usually they're a little smaller. We have like really flat
White
faces.
Yeah.
Well, the weird thing is that so this foam is just hideous. That
there's
is all
foam.
the
It didn't even look like foam. It looked like
it's horrible. You basically that just jams into your forehead, and it's really uncomfortable. Like you couldn't wear this for longer than 20 minutes, I don't think. With the current solution, obviously you could modify this with a VR cover or whatever, but then, yeah, I don't know why you would.
Are those lenses very small? They look.
Yeah, I was looking at that as well.
They look like
very small. Yeah.
Yeah, tiny.
But they're different. They're different kind of lenses. So.
But I'm curious about
I
sweet spots still. If it's flat, it should be a wider sweet spot, right? But
it's not too bad. It's not too bad. The main problem I had with this is that light leaked into the sides here. And the problem is, although it's got IPD adjustment and diopter adjustment, there's no UI to show you what you're adjusting. So it's all a bit work, which isn't ideal, especially for new users. So yeah, just to sort of reiterate, resolution is kind of nice. Obviously, you're restricted with 60 frames per second, so it's not ideal. But the contrast with the micro OLED and the pancake lenses and the diopters, that's a really nice combo. Everything else is trash, but that's a nice combo. So yeah, I would say generally, like the whole thing feels super cheap. Like it feels like a toy, like it flexes, it creaks, it makes horrible noise. And I think they're charging $600 for the headset.
Oh my!
From what I understand, and headset alone. I don't know if they're including the Steam VR
the Nolo tracking solution.
So
wait. What's the head setup like out of the box? Is it a strap or is it a?
Yeah. So basically, it comes with a material strap. Although they didn't ship that to me, they just shipped me this like Elite strap, and this basically just fits onto the little plastic bits here, just like the Quest. So it's almost like a direct rip-off.
It wiggles insanely much.
Look at it.
Yeah,
it's very
super
thin.
It's hideous. It's not very comfortable at all. Like I said, you couldn't wear this headset for longer than 20 minutes.
Yeah, you definitely need a head strap.
What's the back of the head strap like? I assume you can't. Oh, it's just like the Elite. Oh my God, it's a complete ripoff.
Yeah, it is. So it's got 95 degrees field of view. If you're wondering about the field of view, so similar sort of offerings to what the Quest 2 has.
Just a quick question, Mike, because I'm aware we don't have the name up there. Yeah, so it's the Arpara. Is that the name of the company, or is that the name of the headset, or is it both?
Both.
Both.
This is the Arpara 5K headset.
5K.
But that's the company name as well.
Well, what's the history of this company? Like, did they ever launch a headset before? I also I've been to China twice.
Yeah.
I've never. Like, it just reminds me of DPVR for some reason. And it looks very similar to what DPVR has been making. They have also been doing the Nolo stuff and the...
I have no idea. I have no idea the company's history. I couldn't find out anything myself.
But it's interesting. It's almost like this was as you said, a media viewer before, and they're now trying to sell it to gamers as some kind of gaming headset. Well, it's not. They're trying to use Nolo to kind of get away with it. That's kind of my feel.
Good call.
In my opinion, no VR headset should ship with Nolo tracking.
No.
Beyond 2019. That's a fact. This is just pure garbage.
Stretch, yeah.
But there is going to be a Steam VR module for this where you can. It has like a cover with the Steam VR tracking on it, and then basically you can pair it with some base stations and some controllers. But even with that solution, in its current form, you just can't recommend it. With the issues with the cable, they say that the frame rate's going to be increased, but
I don't.
With the switching and everything else, it doesn't feel good, and it concerns me because the VR community are so desperate to find an alternative to like Meta and what Meta are offering right now that they're almost willing to throw their money at a company like this, and I think it's super dangerous. I wouldn't recommend anyone back the Kickstarter campaign, and I would say that to really be careful and just wait until more people get hands-on with the standalone. Apparently, the standalone is still coming to me. So I'll keep you updated as to how I feel about that. But I think the biggest problem they're going to have is software, because without the game library, you're going to struggle. And also, you've got to remember this is a Chinese company. So if you have any issues with this headset, what are you going to do? Send it back to China? It's problematic.
Luck. The other thing is, like, I think if you're going to go for... Roddy, go on.
No, I just wanted to say I do like the small form factor of it. And I'm kind of curious. I mean, if you don't want to, Mike, you don't have to. But I'm kind of curious how it looks like on your face.
Yeah, sure. I'll switch back to my other camera so we can sort of round things up a little bit.
Yeah, and I was going to say just in terms of this device. I mean, thinking about the economics, right? So you can get two Quest 2s for the same price as this headset, and you might even have to spend a little bit more for strappage. And then I still think that like the HP Reverb G2, for example, the revised one, would be a decent entry point for somebody who's trying to avoid Meta.
Yeah, so
that would be probably my choice.
We have a Chinese listener in the chat who says that this used to be a headset that was focusing on watching media content.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, they've kind of adapted it to VR. So yeah, I can put it on. I have to take my headphones off.
Okay.
Yeah, put it on.
You can say all the nasty things you like about Mike now.
So the trick to wearing this is that you really need to tilt the back strap all the way back. And that's kind of how you wear it. But at the moment, I can see light leaking into both the sides, so I can see the light reflecting on the lenses. Yeah. And also, I've got this like massive pressure on my forehead of this bit of foam, which is
honestly, you do
really
look cool. You look pretty cool.
I do have to say, like, it looks good, and I do think that with the 200 grams, right? That's the weight of the headset, 200 grams.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if they still need to do some weight distribution, I think, like in terms of like bringing some more weight to the back, but I don't think you still need the head strap on the top still. If you have so much reduced weight, it's half the weight of the Quest, right?
Half the weight, yeah. I would say that, you know, like I can't give any specific details, but I am aware of like other people in the VR space that are more reputable than this company that are doing very similar stuff in terms of form factor, in terms of micro OLED, and in terms of like lenses. And I would rather just say to everyone, look, just hold on and wait until they are ready to announce whatever they're doing, and skip this entirely.
At this stage, I have to say, Chad is amazing. One person said, looks like the headset was bought in a dollar store. I think that's hilarious. The second one looks like Cambria. And actually, it does look a little bit like Cambria in terms of the kind of profile design. But I don't know. I don't know. It's obviously not a headset for me, but who would? But it looks cool. Who would benefit from this?
But it's the reason why you see this pop up, and the reason why you see it come from the Chinese market is because they can't use the Quest, so they're looking for something similar that they can use, and they can also sell to us. But I think that so far, if you look at the standalone market, I have a very bad feeling about this. I'm sorry, but I don't think this is going to be it.
No. For example.
Definitely... If you're interested in what's going on in the standalone market, then you should look at Pico, because Pico is the one that they invested a lot of money into. They got bought recently by ByteDance. That's where you're going to see a big push. So you can choose between the Meta Quest and this Pico thing that they're going to make for consumers. I think that's what we're going to see happening maybe next year or the year after.
And that's the thing. Like I've tried the Pico Neo 3, and I think it's a fantastic device. And I think, you know, if you can only get that, like say, you know, in China, that's the one you get. You know, it is on par with, you know, it was not quite on par in terms of software, but in terms of the hardware capability, and they are really trying on the software side, and they're getting devs on board and helping them port their games over to the Pico. I think that's the best bet for the Chinese market. If I was giving this advice to a Chinese audience, I would say, forget about this Arpara bull crap. Go with Pico. That's the reputable company, and that's the one you should be banking on.
But the problem is, every time a new headset comes out and it looks kind of funky, or it has a little bit of a Kickstarter here and there, as you said, I feel like in the VR community, people are very quick to believe that this is a real thing, or that it's trustable, or whatever. It's also popular to hype things up, because I've seen some videos of this.
Yeah.
And people are raving about it. So they're actually, what you're saying sounds complete BS compared to what I have heard on other videos. People are like, this is amazing. This is fantastic.
Well, that's partly why I wanted to do this, because I feel like people should know, you know, because the thing is, you could hype something like this up quite easily. Look how small it is. Look how light it is. It's got micro OLED. It's got pancake lenses, so you get no glare, no God rays, no screen door effect. You know, it's got, on paper, it sounds amazing. It's only when you put this thing on your friggin' face that you realize how bad it is. And that is the problem. And really, you know, the people that did hype it up or weren't really giving detailed first impressions of how bad this was straight away, they should have a more responsible outlook on their audience, because people spending money.
Delete my video, Jesus Christ.
People spending money on this is just bad. But like I said, I'm keeping an open mind about the standalone. I will try it, and I'll obviously update you all as to what I think. The standalone's going to come with an XR2 chipset, so same chipset as the Quest 2. But yeah, it's just too problematic, and especially for new users, I would just say this is just like a no-go headset.
It gets me excited seeing the visual of it on your face for one reason only, and it is that when Apple land their headset, it's going to look sick.
Yeah. There are plenty of reputable companies doing this. It's just not here yet. They were the first to market. And I think the other thing is, like with Deca just recently, obviously we had a lot of controversy around Deca that, you guys talked about on the show when I wasn't here. Obviously they've tried to pull that back a little bit, saying, Deca is still happening, although, there's generally smoke when there's fire. So, who knows what's going to happen with Deca, but at least Arpara have made a product and they've got it into people's hands. That's something, I suppose. Deca never achieved that with their headset, at least. They made a great move, thing, a hip tracker, but haven't done it with headsets yet. But this is bad VR. That's how I'll sort of summarize this.
Yeah. I would prefer, and I'm going to say that, I would prefer a small bite into product development that works well, like the Deca move, than a big bite that fails. I don't like over promise, under deliver. I don't like that as a consumer.
I think the other thing is, like, because I gave them all this feedback that I've told you, I said, this is why it's bad. And they were like surprised. And it's like, have you guys ever even tried like good consumer VR before? And that's what concerns me. Is almost like they don't have access to good consumer VR to even give it a good comparison. You know? So.
No, but it's the same. When I went to DPVR's office and they invited me over and they let me try the headset and also used Nolo. I said, like, this makes consumers sick. This tracking is going completely ape nuts. I said, like, this is not good. You need to like put it on now. Tell me what. They're like, no, it's fine. It's fine. So I don't know, but I really hope that they learn from this. I also hope that they're not going to send this standalone too quick, because then they destroy their entire reputation. Because I'm not sure if they understand, but sending you a headset this way, you could have made a video and you could have said, like, listen, so first of all, you take it out of the box. That looks like a Quest box, by the way, for some reason. That's also another story on itself. And then you have to shave your cable to start using it. Like that. So the fact that you're doing it this way is kind of fair, and I'm happy you're doing it this way, because otherwise Mike made a video, would have been done by now. There's no reason to.
The positive thing is, if you get the standalone version, you don't need to shave the cable.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's true.
It just feels very, very 2019 having to.
Well, unless Rowdy, you forgot one thing. You also need to charge a headset, so you might have to still shave it.
Quick question on the Arpara before we move on.
Okay.
Where do you buy it? If you are interested in it, like, is it a website? Is it through modern retailers?
So they have a website where they're listing the details, but I believe they're going to be selling these via a Kickstarter campaign. And again, that is problematic, I feel.
Yeah.
It's a red flag for me. Big time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So that is the Arpara. If you have any questions after the show as well, like, you're watching this after the fact, and you want to ask any questions, I'll try and pop back and check on the video regularly so I can answer any questions. But I do feel like there should be more transparency around this headset for sure. Okay, so now let's talk about Meta, because they announced, well, they're opening up Horizon this week. They originally unveiled it back in 2019. We was all there, at Oculus Connect, when it was called Oculus Connect, and the good old days where we could go to physical events together, the good old times.
Oh, yes.
So they announced it obviously then. They finally opened it up to the public to explore. It's out of beta now. However, you're only going to be able to experience this if you're over 18 and you live in the US or Canada.
Wait,
so
what?
So Rowdy's all right. But the rest of us, we're still
over 18. That's got to be a problem, because like 90% of the Quest audience is under 18.
I thought you were suggesting I was under 18.
Well, yeah, you're also part of that group. But
I totally agree with your statement there, because it was one of the things that stood out to me.
It's not 90% though, but there is a big group of Quest users who are very young.
Yes, I would agree with that. And the thing is as well, like the way this Horizon looks with the worlds, the avatars, very bright, vibrant, it does look like it's more marketed towards a younger audience. It doesn't come across to me as like, oh, this is a kind of like an adult experience.
I don't know. I never really looked at it that way, but maybe, yeah, kind of.
It's more Rec Room than VR chat, I would say.
But a new trailer for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why, when you said about the 18 thing, that was something that definitely struck in my mind, because how are they going to police this? How are they going to check people's age?
That's why they're dodging it. They're dodging regulations there. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're saying, I don't want to build the infrastructure. I don't want to expand global infrastructure to deal with this. They already talked about how they would be taking snippets, escalating it up to a team, reviewing it in that team, and then dealing with it. I guarantee you they've done the price tag for that, and they've gone, this is expensive. Let's pilot it before we then may globalize it. Because the global side is very expensive. Why? Because of language. Because of having to understand language to be able to police it. It's easy when you put this proposal on the table that's in English. When you put it in 55 different international languages, it becomes a nightmare. I know, I've supported that kind of stuff before. So, good luck.
But I think the issue is, especially with like Meta's name change and their whole metaverse presentation, to release something like this, which looks like a first stab at a good metaverse, it's not a great look internationally, because let's be honest, like the whole tech industry latched onto this whole metaverse thing, right? And I think that anyone that's in the VR space is almost like kind of sick of like mainstream media covering the metaverse at this point. But it's like they're all laser focused on what's happening. And I think releasing this in its current state, only in the US with only 18, everyone's going to kind of go, well, your goals were like here in your presentation. What you're delivering is like this. And I appreciate it's early days, but it doesn't look great, I don't think, personally, from someone outside looking in.
Let me tell you something else. Like, they launched a new trailer. It looks kind of cool, but they're not showing anything that the community has built so far.
There is
nothing. And there have been people in this place for 2-3 years who have been building some cool stuff, but they're not showing it. Why are you not showing what your community is making? Are you not proud of it? Or is it maybe looking too clumsy?
Hold that thought, Nathan, because in October they did release a number of Horizon Worlds that were made. But you mean an updated version of that, or maybe you hadn't seen this?
Well, yes, it was finally opening up. But instead of showing a trailer of actually what's going on in this place, this trailer is not telling you anything. If you show this to someone who doesn't know what the battle, they're like, "What is this?" It doesn't, it has no identity. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They have been pumping money into the creators, because we talked about this on a previous show, but they put $10 million US in a creator fund for people to build their own worlds and experiences within Horizon. And to be fair, none of us have actually been able to check this out, right? Am I right in saying that?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yes,
so we're only basing these opinions on what we've seen so far, because we can't experience this ourselves. So it could be better, but we wouldn't
some secondary exposure through other creators who've shared insights and toyed around and built things. Take BMF, for example, who's provided insight into how this has gone for him. And he tried kind of building things in this when I was starting building things in Rec Room, because I was getting really interested in that back in the summer. And I think it's a bad sign to me that they're putting a price tag on creation, because it means they have to incentivize someone to make something of value. And that's a bad sign. You haven't seen that in Rec Room.
Yeah, but I think that's partly because of a troublesome launch of this, not having any roadmap, having no one in control, it seems like, of where this is going, where the guidance is on. Okay, this is our metaverse. This is where what we want to do with this. I like ask someone like, what is Horizon Worlds right now, and where does Meta, Facebook wants to go? No one knows an answer on this. It's been like in the cloud for a few years now, but no one knows what they want to do with it.
Well, there's definitely no public pipeline, right? I haven't seen a single fly or a deck that points us to where they're going.
Every time I'm trying to get into this, because I tried many times, I actually got access, like they promised me access at Connect, just like you guys. It was like, there's access under your chair. I'm still looking under my chair. There's still no access. But people keep on telling me you're not missing out on anything. So the people who have been playing it, at least from my perspective, are like, there's nothing really there that is super. Go play Rec Room, go play VR Chat, go play Neos, but don't go to Horizon Worlds.
It just seems weird, like the experiences that they kind of highlighted for people to go in and experience were an experience called Arena Clash, which is a 3v3 laser tag game. So think laser tag in like a Rec Room, very similar looking. You've then got World Hop, which is a series of mini games that 2 to 4 players can play through against each other, and then they have like a kind of trophy award system at the end. So think like Mario Parties type vibe, mini games, someone wins at the end. But yeah, they don't really have much of substance in there. Do you know what I mean? And I think, of course, there's community stuff, which we've talked about. People can hang out, play games, meditate even. But with the restrictive nature of it just being locked to the US and just being over 18s, I just don't see the appeal of this right now. Certainly from my perspective.
There's a comment in chat. Don Grant said, I was in Horizon Worlds last night and didn't find anything to do. So.
Yeah, it's just weird. Obviously, this might just be the very beginning, and they're going to evolve this and develop on it over time. Or is this just going to be another one of those projects that we think, oh, this kind of has some potential, and then they just abandon it? Like,
the problem is just in general. Like, if you try to force creativity, then it often doesn't happen. Like, they can throw as much money into this as they want and provide the tools, but ultimately, this is something that needs to grow organically. And like, I don't know if like people are like inclined enough to like spend their time and effort into a system that is so controlled and so rigid. Not that I don't think that Facebook can build something, but it's just like, I don't know if a lot of people will be, willing to like abide by that system.
Yeah, I think a lot of people gravitate towards like VR chat because of like the full body tracking and the custom avatars, openness of it. People be able to build stuff in there, and then you've got the younger audience, which are catered for by Rec Room, that again have all those tools, but are more aimed at a younger audience. And then you've got Neos, which is just like on another level, kind of like VR chat, but way more complicated and more involved, but can do a lot more interesting stuff.
I think like the metaverses we're talking about here are not on rails, and this Horizon Worlds thing feels like on rails. It feels very Facebook. It's very like, okay, you can be in our metaverse, but we decide what gets built in that kind of like cubicle, and we control what gets said, what kind of opinions you have. Things like that. I feel like when I'm in Rec Room, for example, I can speak freely and have an opinion on things with friends. But I feel like when I see all these trailers from Horizon Worlds, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's for everyone. And it doesn't feel like, and the metaverse, like a metaverse, should feel like a place that you can share with everyone. And so far, it's just too meta, it's too Facebook. Plus, it does, like, I'm partly frustrated because I want to try this out. I want to learn about this, so I can't just have an opinion, but also I have tried it. But I just can't. And they keep on doing this thing where it's like America only or Canada only. It's not Horizon Worlds, it's Horizon America. That's what it is. No, it is. And calling it Horizon Worlds, why did you call it Worlds? Because I can't join you in this whole thing. And these trailers constantly show like, wow, I can meet someone from Spain and I can meet someone from America and I can meet this Dutch person and this Belgian, but that's not there. And it's been going on for years. And as I said, there is no vision. There is no one like is telling us what they want to do with it. So I think what you're saying what happened to Facebook Spaces, it's just gonna like, it might disappear again. We'll see another project launch, but it's just, why? Yeah, why can't we try it?
This is a. I would have said that last year. I would have said that, and I probably did say that the second I knew that Horizon Worlds was a thing in a world with Rec Room and VR chat out there. I think it doesn't belong. It's kind of like the awkward third wheel, or fourth or fifth wheel at this stage. But now, with Meta banking so much on the metaverse and their vision of that, isn't this supposed to be one of their like main products, or is their plan to create yet another platform to conflict with this project that was released a couple of years ago and has been worked on? I don't know. Like, at this stage, is this the fledgling and there's going to be a better thing that they're going to come out with now, or that's not clear to me. That's not clear to me.
That's what I'm saying.
I still see them eventually buying up the other platforms.
Yeah, well, that's
please don't sell.
Let's hope.
Please don't sell to them.
as you're our reporter on the Canadian side, Rowdy, maybe it's your duty to try it out this week and then report back when we're back.
And then complain about it for an entire show.
I was going to say, send our bridge troll in to do what now?
Yeah.
I mean, you can try it if you want. I mean, if you have a VPN, you can get in there. I don't know if they're going to ban you for that, but you can get in there. But I also think not allowing, and I get it, like 18 plus, just kind of have that legally there. But if you look at Rec Room and stuff, this is a place that might already be flooded by kids, or will be flooded by kids, and they can't ban them. They can't do that because that's their actual audience that they sell the Quest to. They might not want to believe this, but youngsters want a Quest. This Christmas, a lot of under 18 are going to flood their store again. I don't know what they're doing.
I'd spend an hour griping on that because I'll tell you, you know, I said how busy I was this week. I had a lot of heartache also this week, hitting hard walls again because of Meta's changes. Things I just can't do with my family anymore that I used to be able to. And I think a lot of people are going to feel that pain come Christmas. Anyway, that's coming. Yeah. Still no word from them on that.
If you are in the US or Canada and you are over 18, obviously you can check this out for free now. It's available on Quest 2. Quest 1 users only have until the 13th of January to play this because after that they're going to no longer support the Quest 1 and you're going to be locked out. So that's the situation.
So no longer support the Quest 1. Does that mean
no sign on PC?
No.
But lacking support just means I'm not going to deal with it if you have problems. It doesn't necessarily mean a closed gate.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that. But the thing is, like, a lot of Quest 1 users are probably the ones that have been in the beta building these worlds. And there's like, 13th of January, it's not supported anymore. You have to buy the Quest 2. Yeah, it's kind of like a messy launch. I don't really know what to think about it, really. Kind of a bit underwhelming, to be honest. But I do want to try it just to have an opinion for sure.
You know what is interesting?
We're basing this just on what we've seen, not what we've experienced. So
true, but we're not completely wrong though. We might be a little bit over the top on this, but we have seen stuff. It's not like because we can't go in there, we can't see what's going on. Yeah, but what one interesting thing, and I don't know if they're gonna do this with Horizon Worlds, is that are they going to support other platforms? Are they going to support the Index? Are they going to support the Pico? Are they going to support? Because the thing was, and you can look this up, and it's not gone. If you look up Facebook Spaces, there's a trailer where you can see people also in their own metaverse, and you see Vive users and Rift users playing together, and they even trade controllers. So with Facebook Spaces, there was definitely this goal of, okay, we want to have a shared metaverse, and it doesn't matter what headset you have, you can just join in. But with this, it's very exclusive to Quest 2. You know, it's Quest 2 all the way, and there is no way you can get in there with. So I don't know, but it's meta now, so they have a total different view on VR. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Just for clarification, it's the 13th of January. Guy Godin is in the chat. He says they're likely just going to disable a Quest. Always happy to have you around, Guy.
He's also pretty close. You know, he knows it. So
appreciate all the recent work, by the way, as well.
Sure.
Okay, so that's Meta's Horizon. Final bit of news this week comes from Luke Ross. You may recognize the name as he's the guy responsible for the real VR mods for GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, and the Mafia Definitive Edition. Well, he's back at it, and he's currently working on a new VR mod for CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077, which is pretty cool. In a statement to PC Gamer, Luke said that his Patreon community had the honor of kind of like requesting which game he VR modifies next, and apparently Cyberpunk 2077 was at the top of their list. So, yeah. He's been working on it ever since and is likely going to get the VR mod treatment very soon.
It's amazing if you have that skill set, no? That you can just like ask your community, like, which game do you want?
Yeah,
and then you just like, play? You know, like, I'm just going to start doing that. Like,
and that's a tough ask, man. That launched with not just problems at a software level, but performance. So that's a high order, I think. Even with the patches that have come.
It's not easy, and obviously he was the one that gave us insight into the the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition VR mode was just like a no-go. He was just like, it's like 0% done. Like it's not even half baked. It's 0% done. So he knows his stuff. But one thing about his previous mods is that motion controller support weren't supported. So, you know, with GTA, with Red Dead 2, and same with Mafia, you had to use a controller. So it's kind of limited VR. But I think the thing is, with these VR mods, especially with those particular games, and the same with Cyberpunk 2077, is that these worlds are so incredibly detailed that they're worth going in and exploring, at least just looking around in VR, because it's very different from playing it on a flat screen to actually being in that world and being able to get a feel for what it is actually like in there. Especially with like Red Dead 2, you know, I was really awestruck by, you know, these vast vistas, long fields, you know, mountains, canyons, cowboy saloons that you could go into.
It's not like you necessarily have to play it. It's just you drive around or you sit on your horse and you look around and you just feel like just being on a little trip.
Exactly.
Because I don't feel like I want to play Cyberpunk in VR. I mean, I already didn't want to play it on a pancake monitor, but driving around, just casually kind of just being a pedestrian and things like that, I'm down. I'm down. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. And I think despite the jank, especially with the early release of the game, I haven't tried it since then. You know, but the early reports of the bugs and stuff. You know, Night City, where the game is set, is stunning. You know, and I think, like you said, Nathan, just to walk around it in VR and kind of just soak up the environment, I think that's where the magic is going to be with a mod like this. Have you guys played Cyberpunk 2077, or did you all kind of like drop it after launch?
No.
So I still want to play it very much, but I wanted to give this game like some time to like get like
fixed,
sorted out. Well, I mean, like I think like with like nowadays, like people expect like games like of like not only to be like extremely detailed and extremely broad, and there's so much stuff that's going on, and when you have that, you just have more bugs just in general. For me, it was like, I'm going to give this game like some time. I'm going to wait till it drops significantly in price, and I'll probably pick it up when I have the time, since I didn't pick it up during the Steam sale because I was like, I don't have time now anyway, so I'm not going to play it. So I'll probably wait for the next one, and then I'll probably pick it up, and maybe it has a VR mod then. I don't think I'll fully play it in VR just because I think it's too intensive. But I'll probably play it and probably have some tries with it in VR if it's worth it.
If you're patient, I think it's a fantastic strategy, especially for VR conversions, to just wait it out. Wait till someone mods the game that was in flat now to VR. There's some incredible stories there. You get it for a great price. You get a better overall experience. You get greatly immersed, and you get AAA content. It's like the only disadvantage is if you're really, anti-spoiler, you might run across something on the web that, does in some bit of the story. But that's a small price to pay, honestly, for the overall experience.
Since we're on the topic of Cyberpunk 2077, like the most recent like ratings on Steam have all been very, very positive, causing the game to fully flip to the other side. That users are actually now very, very pleased with the game that's been delivered. And that's what I mean with like with these kind of like games that are so big, like Red Dead Redemption and GTA, and like you have The Witcher, is known for its bugs like everywhere with like horses standing on roofs and stuff like that. So that kind of stuff happens. So like
this was on a different level though. This game was so bad that they had pulled it off the PlayStation Store because people were buying something broken. But I know what you mean, and it totally depends on also on trust. Do you trust them redeeming themselves? Some people are done with this company now because they, people pre-ordered this and they were like, "Feck it, I'm not coming back to this."
But it was one of the biggest hype games.
Yeah,
it was years,
Yeah, the people in the black suits are like, developers, we're gonna launch it now. If it's ready or not, we don't care. We launch it. This is it.
No, but that's more like a problem in general in this kind of industry. I think.
It's
a very ambitious project, and I always applaud developers for taking on a project like that, because they could choose not to do that and just make the next like kind of thing that they know that will be a success. But I think it's worthwhile some sense to take a bit of a risk in order to try and deliver something that hasn't been done before. So I do applaud them for that, and they have fixed it. I mean, because the game now is something that is really worth playing. So
Yeah. And I think it's good to hear that it's got better reviews now since it's launched. Because I haven't looked back at it, to be honest, but I think something like this VR mod will be enough to push me back into it and at least just go and explore it for a little while in VR. But if you're interested in this VR mod, obviously you can go and support Luke Ross. He's got a Patreon. Obviously he puts a lot of work and effort into this, so go and support him there. You might get it a bit earlier potentially. I know he released the Red Dead Redemption 2 mod just for Patreon supporters. I don't know if he's going to be doing that with this one, but he's hoping if it all goes well that he's going to be releasing this in January next year. So not too long to wait. But yeah, we'll keep you all updated with the progress on this one. So thanks to Luke Ross for continuing his hard work. I think porting these big VR titles, especially on the PC side, is really propping up VR on PC because, as we know, a lot of devs have transitioned over to Quest, so we're not getting the releases on the PC side. So this modding community, very, very welcome. So thank you again, Luke Ross, for all your hard work.
Definitely.
Okay, so before we hand it over to Zim, I want to thank our second sponsor of today's show, and that is from our friends over at Resolution Games with Blaston. So if you've not heard of Blaston, it's a 1v1 bullet hell shooter where you must use an array of weaponry to take down your opponent, all whilst kind of dodging incoming fire like Neo from the Matrix, because the kind of bullets have these kind of slow trajectory to them, so you've got time to evade them, which is kind of like the whole point of this game.
It is.
So Resolution, they've just released the latest update to the game called Arctic Blast, which adds more content to the game, including new characters and weapons. Players can now create their own custom tournaments. And this is what I think is really interesting. You've got a brand new way to play the game. So instead of using the game's VR arenas, you can now activate the Quest 2's pass-through mode, which then brings your own world into the game. So it's kind of like a mixed reality experience using your own environment. So the player will be shown in your environment, and you play it the same way, but without the VR arena. You've got your own home there, which is, I think, is awesome.
Dude, imagine this in the future with RGB see-through, and it's full color.
Yeah.
Dude.
It'll be sick. It'll really be sick.
Yeah, it was very sick. Yeah, very sick.
So they're using the Quest 2's new pass-through API feature, which is developers can now start implementing into games. So this is one of the first ones we've seen. So it's kind of like a VR, AR mixed reality experience, which I think is really cool. I'm kind of like, I wasn't that hot on this game, but I'm super intrigued just to try out this pass-through mode. I just want to see what it looks like. But yeah, we've added links to Blaston for Quest and Steam in the description down below. So if you like blasting, you've got a friend that you want to play with 1v1, go and check this one out.
It's going to be a blast.
The kind of randomizer with Arctic Blast, where you're given each player the same equipment, but you don't know what you're getting, is actually the same thing that when I was playing this game. That's exactly what we would do. You'd like agree a weapon, and you'd both go for that weapon. You're like, well, okay, we're only use the shotgun. We're only going to use the just to kind of make it fair, right?
Yeah.
In case someone's like really good in with one weapon. Plus, I think this was the first game on Quest 2 that I got my kids both into, and it was super, super fun seeing kids jump around like blasting each other with these slow ball weapons. It's just it's great fun hearing those like the glee screams of joy.
Yeah, Resolution makes some fantastic games. Like, they made Demio. They made what was it? The squirrel one, Akron. Yeah, I have to be honest. I haven't actually tried Blaston yet. I should actually just jump on and try it.
You really should.
The sandwich games, cooking. What was it? Cookout.
Yeah. Resolution makes great games. So thank you to them.
You guys should play each other, Nathan and Mike. You should.
Yeah, we should.
And then report back.
We should actually.
It's actually way more competitive than it looks on the outside. On the outside, you're like, that's going to be kind of low paced or whatever. You'll get it sweating.
Thanks to Resolution Games for sponsoring the show. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Looking for your latest update for Demio, by the way. We've got little hints of that coming soon. What is it called, Zim? The latest update?
Roots of Evil. Yeah.
I think that's coming in the next week as well.
Yeah, I'll cover it.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice one. Well, in that case, nice segue. Let's hand it over to Zim for top picks.
Super. I've actually got, so I've got a series, a little bit different today, but I've got a couple of things that have come out recently. And then, just a couple of DLC mentions, because we've got a lot of stuff coming at us, and some of it's quite quality. And then I'll go on to some game show announcements just to catch up in case you haven't spent the time. I watched actually both the Upload VR and Game Awards showcase. The Game Awards one finishing around about 4 a.m. my time. I was absolutely killed. And it was all for about, I don't know, felt like 2.5 minutes worth of VR content and all of that.
Oh, you were like waiting 4 hours to like see some actual VR things.
I might have gotten a little hot tip from somebody to say.
Oh yeah.
So I stuck around just to see what was coming, and I was pleased enough. So anyway, I'll walk you through all that stuff. So let's get started. Firstly, a game that I didn't mention before, but absolutely I want to is if you're like a Beat Saber fan. Any of the beat rhythm games, actually. I think it's worth knowing that there are now, there have been several drumming games, but now there's one landed on Quest, which is Smash Drums, and that's out for £15. Came out on the 2nd of December. I wanted to mention this one because it's got a 2 to 8 player multiplayer mode. We don't get that in a lot of games. And again, as we're approaching the holiday season, if you're looking for some co-op or versus drumming action, this game's pretty nifty. It's got 30 rock tracks. It's got a 360 mode. It's quite fun, actually, trying to keep track of the drums that are coming at you. One aspect of the game that I don't like, but they tout is one of their strengths, is the fact that the intensity of your swing matters. So in other words, you're tapping away on the drums, and every so often you've got a drum that's on fire, and you're meant to give it a proper smash. That, for me, has never felt right. But everything else about the game, it's really slick. And if you like your rhythm games and you're looking for a different flavor of music, then there you go. You've got this indie game that's grown up now, and yet another kind of Quest game in the rhythm space. Have any of you guys played Smash Drums or any other drum game for that matter?
I have not, but I did see that FarmD22 said that Smash Drums also has a demo in App Lab.
Yes.
It does. I've played the demo, yeah. I haven't played the full game.
The demo and the full game are kind of on par with each other, I'd say. It's kind of a similar tech. I'm sure the dev would give me a shoeing for saying that.
So did you drum with the Nolo controllers then, or
that was on Quest 2.
Okay.
That's something else.
I don't think I could play with the Nolo. I would smash the Nolo. That's what the game would be. It wouldn't be Smash Drums. It'd be Smash Nolo.
Smash Nolo. Next one. A question for you guys. Have you played 4VR bowling?
4VR bowling?
It is. I know you guys are going to take me at my word now. If you've played Walkabout and enjoy Walkabout as much as I know you do, if on that same kind of level of customizable assets, balls and things like that, it's really, really good. Not for content creation purposes, but for hanging out with a friend or whatever, and bowling. If you don't mind bowling games, if you liked Wii Bowling back in the day, this game is really polished, and it brings in, for example, you can be listening to Michael Jackson while you're in this lovely arena. It's all very beautifully done. Environments where there's like you're in Atlantis and there's fish swimming and stuff like this. The reason I'm telling you about that game is because another 4VR game is coming, and this is a hand tracking experimental game, which is called 4VR Darts. So this is where they're actually going to take hand tracking, put you in a pub setting, and you've got dart throwing competitions. So this is like their next title. I actually wonder now, what's their whole run of games going to be?
Wait. This reminds me so much of like Sports Bar VR. What was the name of it again?
Sports
like
Bar VR was
where you could play darts, you
original.
could play bowling, you could pretty much play everything, but then in one game.
It was originally a pool. It was a pool experience that then ended up going into more mini games. Yeah,
they changed their name.
Correct. They did.
Wow.
They did. I'm trying to remember the original name of that. Anyone in chat old enough to be able to remember it? You get bonus points from old Zim.
Something with bar, I think, but I don't know.
Well, you were right with Sports Bar. That was their new title, but the old title was something about pool. I can't remember. Pool Nation, I think, or something.
Yeah, something with Nation. Yeah, you're right.
Pool Nation rings a bell.
I think.
Yeah,
it was quite good actually back in the day. So this is just another one that's coming. Right, it's competitive. It's got single player. Same devs, yeah.
Okay.
As I said, I'm wondering if they're kind of like going to keep going down this line of game making, right? Like make one title, make another, and then are they going to stitch them together, right? That would be a question.
Maybe they're going to bundle it and sell it as. But what I like about this studio is that they use the avatars that are in the, because you don't see that much, like the Quest avatars, I mean.
Very rarely do you see the platform level avatars actually used.
It makes it more appealing, don't you agree? Like you see the characters, you're like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I could play with those.
It's just that you are your character. Again, just like the Nintendo Wii, right? You'd customize your character and then you'd continue to be you, no matter what you played. And I do find that it's very odd that on the Oculus platform, Meta platform now,
Meta platform, yeah.
That seems to be a very broken truth. That has not been consistent in the last 4 years at all.
No.
You even have multiple different, I'll call them meta avatars in different pockets, right? And it's kind of a joke. So anyway, we've talked before at length about how that needs to be fixed. So these are 2 games. Smash Drums was out on the 2nd for about £15, $20. 4 VR Darts is only £8 or $10, but as I said, it brings in hand tracking. You can actually use hand tracking, screw the controllers, right? Play a game just with your hands. And actually for anyone who's, played Unplugged, Cubism, any of these kind of hand tracking games, the nicest thing about it is that you can kind of just relax. You can sit on the couch and just do this kind of thing. You don't have to kind of get your controllers out. It's really just chill. And if you're on a plane, that kind of tracking is also really handy because you're not whacking into things, right, with your physical controllers. So those are
also,
2. Go ahead.
You were totally right, by the way. It was Paul Nation before it was Sports Bar VR. So well done to him.
Been on this game way too long, Mike.
Wow, yeah. That's
VR knowledge is on point.
I remember I did an event for that. I remember. It was quite good. All right. So next, what am I going to tell you about? So there's a game that landed. I never knew about this because PSVR has been really, really slight in the last year. But in July, a game called Winds and Leaves landed. And this has just come out as of the 8th of December. Now, this is a VR flora builder. Probably won't interest many of you, but I wanted to kind of put this out there because this, again, it's a good looking game and it's a bit different. So what you do in this, it's a vast open world and you're in this wasteland and you're capable of mastering this ancient art of growing vegetation. So you're going to grow your own forest in here. Okay. So you read the signs, you try to awaken this landscape across a variety of climates. In the end, you're basically sprouting a forest of your own. I don't know. It looked to me a bit like some of those more artsy, I'll call them artsy-fartsy titles on PSVR that we've seen before. Like, what was the Beasts one?
Paper Beasts.
Paper Beasts, which I really enjoyed. I thought they were a nice kind of taste of something different. I would actually say that even like Falcon Age was kind of a similar veneer. Like it felt like this this thing. So Winds and Leaves is just a bit of a different taste. If you're looking for it, was on PSVR, now come to PCVR. So whether you're on Rift or Index or whatever, and you want something different, there you go, Winds and Leaves.
The mechanics and the physics as well look very satisfying.
Yeah. It kind of felt like a little Wind Waker or something like that to me. Just something, there's something about those moving parts that I liked. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to show it. I'm kind of rattling through these quite quickly. The next one I'm going to hit you with is, we all love Joyway, don't we? And yet another Joyway title.
No.
So this is basically I would call it a darker feeling pistol whip clone. It's called Against. It's an FPS rhythm game, okay? Combat rhythm VR game. You're in a dark comic story. I have to say, I appreciate the fact that they're able to come out with so many different visions. I would like to, again, remind Joyway, please finish what you start, okay? It does dent us when we want to back something new. This looks cool, right? On the face of it, it looks kind of neat. You're able to parkour off of walls and stuff like that, and you're doing this to rhythm. Is it going to be too much? Who's to say until we get a chance to try it. It actually has almost kind of like a Spider-Man vibe or something like that as you're going along. It looks mad. I like the look of it. It's very, as I said, dark. It's Against, and that's coming.
Yeah, definitely like the look of this one. But yeah, we know the reputation.
Exactly. The reputation with Joyway. I think they've probably got like 6 VR titles in the last 2 years or something like that. It's a bit
Outlier,
nuts.
Stride. Yeah.
They're all this one single title with this kind of punchy. It's almost like they had a list of words that they wanted to just use for games, and then they built the game behind it. But it is what it is. So,
hey, maybe all of them together make like a game.
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, they do. Yeah,
it's possible. It's possible. So now I'm going to just tell you about a couple of DLC that are coming up. So this first one, really cool. Demio is just a great game. I love it. If you don't know about this, fucking know about it. It's a tabletop sim like D&D type of thing, and they've got a new level coming out, and this is what we call Roots of Evil. Okay, so Roots of Evil is coming. There's the little guidebook, right? That they usually give this out, and this just shows you kind of some of the cards that are coming.
You can definitely you would definitely need to read that because otherwise you wouldn't survive.
Well, we did a great job. If anyone,
we did a great job.
We took down the Rat King, which was the previous expansion, and we actually managed, just scraped a survival at the end of that.
Sacrifice Rowdy. That's what we did.
Yeah, we did.
That's multiple
we
times in a row.
That Rat King, he was savage.
Yeah.
He was that guy. I actually don't want to go back to him again. He's really nasty. But this new expansion brings the Bard, which is a brand new class. So now someone doesn't have to be that horrible wizard class anymore.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You can be the Bard, and you
can't cheat anymore. Apparently,
he sings songs and stuff like that. What? You can't cheat anymore. Respawn. Yeah, the auto respawn. I think they patched that out of the game anyway.
They're so screwed.
We are so screwed. Yeah, we'll inevitably be able to play this either on or off stream, but we'll see. We'll definitely hit that. You mentioned already Blaston and the content coming there with Arctic Blast, and then Walkabout has another paid DLC coming, Shangri-La, which is just a lovely looking course. Again, it's gonna be paid DLC. They've got this kind of run of several DLC courses. So as probably my top pick for the holidays, if you're going to try to play with family and friends, then Walkabout is definitely up there. It's a killer title.
I love Walkabout.
So
yeah,
good.
we should jump in there and check out the Shangri-La stuff when we get a chance as a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like if they combined After the Fall and Walkabout Mini Golf, I think we would never see Zim again.
Walkabout with zombies.
Yeah.
I really technically shouldn't even be sitting here right now. I need to go get into another game. The last thing I was going to say in terms of DLC, and again, a fave of mine, and I know I went about this the last time, but Gorilla Tag brought in Snowfall. And it's a small change, but in addition to some like cosmetic items and things that they added, which they do, like you can get a free snowflake for your gorilla nose, stuff like that, which is nice for him to give. The snow in the forest setting with the Christmas tree and the presents, and the fact that, I don't know if you've played it since, but when you go into the crystal caves and you touch the crystals, that sound that he's done for the touch the crystals is amazing. And it's the same sound on the ornaments in the forest. So no promises here, but I really like Gorilla Tag, and I think if you want to get in the festive spirit, I went in there with one of my kids, and it feels just really nice. You know, every so often, like we used to get it in Team Fortress. You know, every so often they'd have like, for example, in October, the Halloween feel. You go in, and as a gamer, it's really nice to be in a place that feels like the holiday. So that's my recommendation for that one. And then I'm going to take you over to the game announcements. So we've got a couple of game announcements.
From Jeff.
I think the first one, which definitely surprised me, was a drop from Fast Travel Games. And this is Cities VR. So some of you might have seen another game called Little Cities. This is not the same thing. This is actually the formal VR conversion for Cities Skylines. So City Skylines is a very addictive game, lovely looking. It's got these lovely like sweeping roads and all this kind of stuff. And I was surprised while we were going through the Upload VR showcase to hear this news. And it sets up a direct competitor to Little Cities, which is more of a little Zen build a city type game. So of the two right now, my interest definitely swings towards Cities VR, because Cities Skylines is a fantastic game, and bringing that to VR, I do, at this stage, Fast Travel are multi-year studio. They've given us several titles. They've learned their lessons. Yep. So I have faith. Not to say that I don't in the team who's building Little Cities, but of the two games, that's the one that, to me, along with the IP, I think they've got the corner. If they perform as right, then that game looks like it's really going to set sail.
I think the deal with Little Cities is that it's an indie dev, but it's being published by Endreams.
Right. Yeah, and it feels that way. It feels smaller. It feels indie. So
it's unfortunate for them.
It's unfortunate for them, but it's not always a bad thing when there's competition like that. Yeah. We'll just see which way it goes.
Hopefully, they've got something unique that can make them stand out.
That's what they need to do. They need to pivot. Yeah. So that's those. Then, of course, and I know Mike he's probably squealing with joy already. Haven't seen this, but Polyarch are bringing back their little quill and. Yes. The Eye of Sauron. No, I'm just joking. It's book 2 for Moss. So for those who haven't played Moss, third-person game where you control a little mouse with a sword. Real cutesy she is. And this game is touted to be about 1.5 to 2 times as long as the original Moss. So
look at her. She's so adorable, a little quill.
Absolutely.
Most adorable VR character of all time. Followed closely by Astro.
Well, you're also adorable, Mike. You're also an adorable VR character.
But it does. It looks
into
promising.
That Christmas spirit here.
Yeah. And this is going to be coming. The interesting thing I think about this is the news that it's landing on PSVR first. So if you are a solo PC VR player, you're going to be looking through that frosty glass out the window as this lands.
Like use him.
He knows. Yeah. Hey, by then I could have a PSVR again. We'll see. Remember, I was just holding it off for my Canada move, so we'll hopefully that's in January now, and we'll be able to get over there and buy some new equipment again. Get my PSVR back into my catalog. But it's fine. I think I sold it.
I would say now is probably worth waiting. If you sold it, then now's worth waiting for PSVR 2, I think.
Yeah, so I'm not going to buy a PS4, but I might buy the equipment anyway, because then you can always just do a rental or something.
Oh, you should definitely buy a PS5 for sure.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Because I'm a little bit nervous about waiting much longer now, because when you want it, then you won't be able to get it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, 100%.
So that's
when the announcement telling you how to spend your money. Like.
Yeah, exactly. That or food. One of the two. I know one of these things is important. I'm not.
Who needs food?
Who needs food? Yeah. And then the one that, so my, staying up till 4 a.m. Was the surprise announcement recently for those of you who love deception games. Among Us is officially getting VR, and it's getting it from a combination of devs, but including Shell Games. I mean, Shell Games being behind this. The people behind, it's just absolutely. So if you liked I Expect You to Die, this is absolutely who I want to be making the Among Us title. I mean, without a question. So that excites me more than anything else about this announcement. There are some, if you go to their website and their new Twitter account and stuff, you can get some more details about how the game looks and feels. Honestly, it looks like they're making it maybe a couple of leagues beyond what we've already had in like VR chat and stuff. And yeah, maybe the pot has simmered down, but I think that's a formula that's really gonna have testing time. Just like Five Nights at Freddy's. I think Quest audience is gonna gobble that up.
Totally, I agree.
It is a bit late though, but
it is late.
Maybe it can still work. I don't know.
I think they missed. You're right. They missed the hype train, but I think it's going to stand up on its own because it's only just releasing as well on consoles and PC again now or something. Is it consoles that they're releasing it on now?
Don't remember.
Plus everything.
And it's one of those games that you can just play forever, right?
Exactly. I think, like we said earlier, when you play a game like this with friends, you're gonna have like a blast. Like you're gonna have so much fun playing this. And like the thing is for me, like when we played it in VR chat, the great thing about playing it in VR chat was that we could choose our own avatars. And I'll never forget. Rowdy was Grogu, like Baby Yoda. And he was the one that was like the
Decepticon,
the one that murders everyone, the traitor. And the hilarious thing was that his avatar was so small that he couldn't actually physically murder any of the other characters. And then when we did eventually find out it was him, ejecting him out the airlock and seeing Baby Yoda being ejected into space was just a moment I'll never forget.
That's amazing.
You guys still murdered everyone else though. Like
it was amazing.
Oh yeah, it went down to like 3 players at that stage. But one of the questions that people were asking about this was, is it going to be cross-platform play? And I suspect the answer is going to be no, because I'm just trying to think, like, how would you take a 2D, literally like a flat game, and then have a VR representation? I really doubt that is going to be cross-platform.
I think what they mean here is cross-play in the sense of if there are other platforms coming like Quest or PC VR and stuff like that, it will be, but that's hard to say right now.
But that's something that I would expect as a consumer. Has Shell Games done a multiplayer cross-platform? Don't think so.
They have done Water Bears.
That's definitely not multiplayer.
No, I know.
So I think we're kind of out on a limb on that. And the last little bit of news, I should not say this, but I'll tell you why I'm saying this. So Beat Saber, right, got a Lady Gaga pack. You don't feckin' belong on the F.Reality podcast. Get out, feckin' Gaga lady. But this is why I'm mentioning it. And this is my little thing for today, and then I'm done talking to you.
Wow, I never knew Zim hated Lady Gaga.
I don't hate her. It's just
she's
more
a great artist. What are you talking about?
Stuff. It's just, I don't know.
She's not. Like, no, not at all. Okay, discussion for some other
discussion for another time. But the price of the pack is £15. Like, that's the price of an album. And you can listen to that anywhere.
Gaga's got to eat, Zim.
Gaga needs to eat, yeah.
Gaga needs to eat.
And their dogs too,
Or just think, it's the slope of like, Beat Saber is a bit of a behemoth. These packs already chew lots of money. And I think if the pack prices start to stabilize at 15 quid a pack, like that's just nuts. I don't know.
Yeah, but what they do now, and it's very obvious, is they target like the fans of this artist, so they know they're gonna pay for that. But I don't know if the average Beat Saber player is gonna put so much money down every time for this.
I know we'll end up paying for it. Fucking wife will buy it. She's bought every pack, I think, except for maybe those BTS.
We got Gigo Dad saying inflation is real. $10 becomes $15.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's on sale for the moment. I shouldn't be saying this because then more people are going to go buy it. But anyway, it's there. You missed a bunch of others like Linkin Park and
Someone
stuff.
in the chat says, Sim, don't be a drag, just be a queen.
That's very well fitting. And that's the end of the releases. Quick recap: Smash Drums, 4VR, Darts, Wind and Leaves Against, and then a bunch of releases: Demio, Blaston, Walkabout, Gorilla Tag, all kinds of stuff coming your way. So look forward to 2022, everybody, and happy Christmas.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap up the show. We've gone on a little bit longer than we normally do, but we had a lot to talk about this week. If you have any burning questions for us, now's the time. We can say goodbye and sort of wrap it up a little bit. But yeah, chuck your questions in the chat now. I just want to say thank you again for everyone that's watching, and if you're listening to the show, the audio version, thank you very much for all your support. We really appreciate it. Also, thanks again to our sponsors, Resolution Games with Blaston and Psytec Games with Windlands 2. Reminder of the show times: it's live streamed every other Saturday on YouTube and on Twitch. The show goes live at 7 p.m. in Europe, 6 p.m. in the UK, 10 a.m. Pacific time. You can also check out the audio version available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Hit the like button if you're watching this live and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future shows. We're going to be back. We're not quite sure actually yet. Potentially, the 1st of January, I think, is going to be the show that we come back with. So we're not going to be here over Christmas. So, we wish you now a happy Christmas and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas. It's going to be great. We've got a few weeks off,
then we come back and we can tell everybody what we thought. Game of the year. We gotta definitely do a game of the year.
That's going to be spicy. That's going to be
the next episode. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait because there are really contenders in the spot, and they're they're not Sniper Elite, and they're not goddamn Hitman 3.
Yeah, I don't know where the VR Awards got their best game of the years from in VR.
Oh, sorry, we didn't even say that. But the game of the year was Resident Evil 4. Which I wholeheartedly believe was a paid-for win. But anyway, we can debate that on the end of the year.
Was one of the sponsors of the show, funny
enough. In fairness, it would have got my vote.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean...
Not mine. But anyway.
So one thing that we should definitely quickly cover, and Zim can look this up, it's questday.facebook.com, and it's this countdown that they have going on right now, and someone also in the chat pointed this out. I don't know what this is. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's this mysterious quest day. They have a quest day now. There's a quest day, and it's going to be every year.
Not resolving from a quest
you
day.
have Christmas and quest day. No,
I saw it. I think it's some sort of viral marketing campaign that they're trying to get traction, but I think it's only available in the US. I think they're giving away.
I can't get to it.
Wait, what? It's in the US?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, again. I think they're just going to give away accessories and stuff to the community. Yeah. I think that's what it is. Some sort of cryptic clue.
URL is sus. I agree.
Yeah.
We also
there was a question.
We had a question during the show actually from Shirzot Kansas City. Is there another Steam VR controller solution besides Index with perfect functioning analog sticks?
No.
Yeah,
is the answer. There is the ET controller, which is an alternative, but again, it uses
is that
gestures, and I think it is out. And I think it just uses some sort of trackpad and finger gesture based input. It's not. Yeah, the best thumbsticks in VR.
ETE.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
ETE in the sense of ET home phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, the best thumbsticks in VR are the Quest controllers.
The other question that Bug asked, I think this is a good one. For us to then wind the show on this. What titles are you looking forward to in 2022?
Assassin's Creed VR.
Moss 2 for sure.
Assassin's Creed Moss. Nathan, you got one?
Expecting that it comes out in 2022.
Yeah. Maybe the one from Alchemy Labs. the high school one.
Oh yeah. The kind of like a job simulator type.
I wanted to say Vertigo too, but at this point, I feel like it's gonna come out in 5 years from now.
Yeah, Vertigo 2 could be longer.
Splinter Cell VR, we also have that one still coming somewhere.
Project 4 somewhere in the pipeline, right?
Project 4, geez.
The Nerf VR game. The Nerf VR game looks interesting.
The Nerf VR game,
GTA.
I suppose
VR.
For me, I would just give a kind of anonymous answer here, but I always like.
That's not fair.
I always like indie projects. That's what I just watch App Lab, and I want to see. I want to see what's coming there because I mean, this year brought us things like Squingle, Gorilla Tag, Demio. I don't know if you call that indie at this stage, but like. There's just some games that came out this year that I did not expect, didn't know they were coming. So for devs working hard on their projects with stuff behind closed doors, surprise me next year, and then you'll make a spot here next December.
So the chat are trolling us as well. They said, "Have a nice Christmas verse." Marshall says, "Have a nice MetaMess." MetaMess.
I like that one.
That's all from us today. Also, we've got Ravioli in the chat who says he's new here. Welcome to the show, Ravioli. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, mate. We'll see you on a future episode.
happy Metaverse to only the people from America and Canada. Okay.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to you all. Happy New Year to you all. We'll see you in the new year. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy yourselves. Hug your families and take care for now.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.